He has always been regarded as a cursed, dark sorcerer in the eyes of the people in this Isgar empire. But in reality, Kim Min-jun is a person from modern Earth 4.0. He was just caught by the Saintess and given all sorts of missions on the day the whole nation was eagerly awaiting the parade outside. At the same time Min-jun returned to his world, the Saintess was also waiting for him to come back and called him by the name Mino. It turns out the final threat to Iska was eliminated thanks to Min-jun. The Saintess wanted to thank him on behalf of the Empire, but he didn't bother to listen. The only thing Min-jun needed was to fulfill her last promise through their dialogue. Neither side liked each other. The Saintess seemed unwilling to lose this loyal dog. She continuously tempted and tried to keep him by offering benefits if he stayed, but Min-jun had no interest in those things. He just wanted to return and work. This was already enough. The Saintess still did not give up, continuing to act regretfully. If you stay for the Empire's benefit, I promise you will be compensated for all the hardships you have endured. And even more than that, he really couldn't stand this fake face anymore and immediately exposed that she was acting. Of course, the Saintess had no reason to admit it. However, when Min-jun asked what she would give him, she was immediately muted. This relationship was not voluntary at all. The Saintess was the one who forced Min-jun here and used him like a slave. She wanted him always to remain in the shadows and act as a henchman to clean up the mess for her. In short, Min-jun just wanted to know if she would let him go home. The Saintess's face must be made of wood. She kept saying if he stayed, she would give him anything he wanted, a bunch of modern food like Korean fried chicken and boiled pork knuckles, as Min-jun listed. That wonderful hometown food, he really missed it. Here he could only eat some dry crackers, no different from animal feed. The Saintess was scolded, looking gloomy, and promised to improve it, but that was not Min-jun's biggest concern. He desperately needed a high-spec computer with superior technical specs and the fastest internet connection to play League of Legends day and night at home. He hadn't even received the reward yet, so he needed to go back as soon as possible. Finally, the Saintess had to concede and agreed to start the return ritual. Min-jun really had quite a few memories here. Still, he swore never to meet the Saintess again. She put on a reluctant face and told Min-jun to stand in the middle of the stone pedestal with the summoning mark. As soon as he stood in the magic circle, purple light radiated. The Saintess would release the protection of the Holy Spirit. She opened her hands and looked at the mark on her hand. Min-jun knew well it was called protection, but in fact it was just a magical mark preventing him from fighting her. Nevertheless, now he would be freed from this magic circle. While removing the mark from Min-jun, the Saintess still tried to shake his resolve, but unfortunately she failed as Min-jun read her intentions. Min-jun tactfully asked if she wasn't worried at all. Once this magical mark disappeared, she could die at his hands. Maybe she was panicked and scared inside, but outwardly she remained calm when revealing herself. She had accepted that from the moment she started everything. After a while, the Saintess's protection was truly removed. Min-jun couldn't believe this Saintess was so easy. Doing so, in his silence, the Saintess prepared the next ritual, which was to strip all the power he had gained in Iska. But why would he give up such an awesome ability? While the Saintess was still rambling about how dangerous it would be, Min-jun used his power to control her. It had come to this. The Saintess still didn't understand why. Looking dumb playing games like that, but his brain was still sharp. How many difficulties had he overcome to gain this power? So how could he give it up? The Saintess never expected to be knocked down like this. She also knew what he was scheming, but normally dark magic couldn't activate a time portal. So Min-jun asked permission to become the first person to go against that norm. He easily opened the time portal using dark magic, although the chance of convincing her was 0. But the Saintess still shouted to stop him because time travel was too hasty. Min-jun knew that well, and that was also why he had practiced it thousands of times. After all, he had reached the peak of dark magic power, and to him all magic was the same. Why divide it into light and dark before leaving? Min-jun also had a special friendly gift for the Saintess. The middle finger, of course, along with a heartfelt farewell. It really is fun to know about that terrible Saintess. Let's never meet again. If I ever meet you again, you'll definitely die. Until the last second, the Saintess still shouted loudly to stop, truly meaningless in the end, just a blink of an eye watching Min-jun return to his world. At the same time her true face was revealed, she was very bitter. Meanwhile, at Min-jun's modern world residence, a large energy flow descended into the room. It's unclear how long it took, but he had returned to his beloved room. Only that this journey was so exhausting. Min-jun stood up and glanced at his beloved phone. The fatigue from moments ago immediately vanished, replaced by joy. Indeed, he couldn't live without his phone for too long. Min-jun couldn't hide his excitement when he finally returned from that hell. The notification that the phone couldn't connect to the network immediately dropped his mood. However, it seemed the world he lived in had undergone some changes. The special forces were acting very cautiously. They talked about it something not human, just chatting a bit, then a sound made everyone highly alert. They acted immediately, running toward the source of the noise. In-ho was the first to run up, aiming his gun precisely forward, but the image before him was unexpected. It was Min-jun holding the phone, complaining. "The internet in the neighborhood is down, can't connect to the network." He gestured wildly, but no stores were open, which was truly unusual. The two soldiers stared blankly at Min-jun's back. They thought he was the missed civilian. In-ho loudly called him over. Min-jun was quite puzzled why there were military soldiers in this residential area. Then he didn't think much, just assumed they were training for a situation, but In-ho's shout and the following scene immediately shattered that assumption. A fierce monster charged from behind Min-jun, who didn't understand what was happening. The current Earth no longer seemed peaceful. When will Min-jun be able to claim his game rewards? But when nothing happened afterward, he looked down at his hand in bewilderment. His hand was exactly the same as before, with no changes, making Min-jun find it hard to believe and doubt that his dark energy had completely disappeared. But even without that energy, he still grabbed the wolf's head. Min-jun decisively grabbed its head and slammed it hard into the ground, shattering the floor. The two soldiers were shocked to see this scene. They were stunned, with their mouths agape. The wolf was lying motionless on the ground with red plasma dripping from its wide-open mouth. Min-jun looked at it and whispered, "The stupid dog." The soldier was still standing motionless, his face pale with extreme fear clearly shown. Min-jun still sat there watching the result. "I just created you, and you think I'm useless because I can't use magic due to lack of dark energy. Even if I become weaker, it's not to the extent that a worthless monster like you can defeat me." He recalled the previous scene and sighed. "Sir, please go once more. This reminded me of the time I was training at Iska." Min-jun's eyes suddenly drooped, feeling sad as he thought, but he wondered why you appeared in this world. That was a question Min-jun did not get answered. He quietly stood up, startling the two soldiers behind him. Min-jun tilted his face back and said, "Sorry, sir." One soldier, too scared, startled, and timidly requested not to come closer here. The sky today was crystal clear blue. A warning sign showed an evacuation base 1 kilometer away. A car was speeding on the road. Inside, someone said, "I don't understand why you went so far." The young man, Min-jun, was sitting in the car, wiping off the wolf's bloodstains with a cloth at that moment. He heard someone continue, "But you could go to jail for that, because the commander told us not to overdo this matter. So you can go." That was Cho In-ho. He was driving while wondering, but he really didn't know what had happened these days. Min-jun nodded in response. "Yeah, I was abroad." He thought silently, precisely in another world. Min-jun quietly realized this was not the Korea he once knew. What happened in these 2 years? The dungeon phenomenon appeared when I was about 7 years old. Monsters from the dungeon began appearing in real life. I remember there were soldiers fighting them. Like now, with the dungeon's appearance, awakened superhumans with abilities superior to normal people joined the newly formed Hunter Corps at the military base, and quickly wipe out the monsters as soon as they appear. Before being summoned by some crazy saintess, South Korea no longer had any danger in the residential area. After pondering for a while, Min-jun sighed and guessed, wait, could it be? He looked at the phone screen with a no network connection notification and thought silently that the dungeon fighter, the powerful server, hasn't completely disappeared yet. Right, Min-jun firmly held that thought and kept tapping continuously on the screen, concentrating until sweating, thinking, no, I have been through a lot to come back. And yet like this, I want to play the all-powerful dungeon fighter. I really want to play that damn game. This damn network. I want to see if the server will reopen. Hurry up! Cho In-ho, sitting next to him, watched him quietly tapping on the phone helplessly and thought that the whole world was in the same mess, but he didn't know because he just came back from abroad. Very suspicious, he self-assuredly thought inside but didn't want to investigate. He was sure the guy had his own private matters. While pondering, Min-jun suddenly called out. He put on a serious face and continued, have the residents been moved to a safe place yet? Like the game developers, do you think they can still work during this time? Like a game company, for example, what about the buildings that were destroyed? What about the server storage system? What happened to create this damn thing? I mean, this mess. Cho In-ho listened to the barrage of questions and gasped, answering, I will tell you what I know. After all, I got an A+ in monster theory and dungeon theory. When studying at university, Min-jun wondered if they still taught such things at university now. He confirmed it's hard to find schools that don't teach those subjects. Cho In-ho recounted the reason why the situation worsened. It was due to a strange phenomenon. It started appearing in dungeons 2 years ago. On one day, dungeons began appearing more frequently and became larger, but the biggest problem was the number of giant monsters kept increasing. They came from these strange dungeons. Because of that, the military could no longer control the dungeons and the situation worsened, leading to the isolation of some residential areas from then on. The military used various measures to fight back, but we were short on forces. Min-jun listened to the story stunned for a long time like a soulless person. In his head, exclamations kept appearing, how stupid it can't be like this. Brother, are those game companies still okay? I still want to play the all-powerful dungeon fighter. Cho In-ho curiously asked, how old are you now? Min-jun stammered. I think I'm 21. He kindly reminded that means you should enlist immediately. Half of your 20s is about to vanish. Min-jun was startled and asked again 5 years for the Hunter Corps and 3 years for the military. Cho In-ho explained that because the situation has worsened in recent years. All the military forces now must serve for 5 years, not just the Hunter Corps. If you're 21, you might have already received the enlistment letter. He listened and panicked 5 whole years. Min-jun felt like he fell into a void, a terrifying silence. His face darkened as he thought, wait, this is serious, isn't it? I want to play the all-powerful dungeon fighter after returning just to escape and heal. Min-jun gritted his teeth, eyes red wondering, but I have to enlist for 5 years right now. While lost in thought, suddenly a notification sounded, cutting through the message from the government. Min-jun opened his phone and read the message, horrified. What the hell is this? Enlistment notification from Department X. He was still confused, wondering if tomorrow was the enlistment day. Could this be a prank letter? Perfect timing indeed. Cho In-ho, sitting beside him, firmly confirmed it was real. At this moment, he was still stunned. The sound effect was strange, but real. Just as he realized what he was saying, Min-jun panicked to the extreme and shouted loudly, What, it's real? What the hell, enlisting without a physical exam? He spoke rapidly, as if venting his anger. How the hell do they notify just 1 day before? Cho In-ho helplessly explained, I already told you. We don't have enough personnel, so you'll usually have the physical exam right at the training center, and you probably just saw the notification late. He asked again why you didn't go to the PC room near the evacuation base to check right after Min-jun's parents went missing. He just buried himself at home and played games, ironically. Fate was miserable, unable to make friends, and was summoned to Iska in the summer of 12th grade, which was a wonderful paradise that humanity had forgotten a modern computer screen. Releasing sword-fighting games with beautiful 3D graphics, now Min-jun cried out of joy because the arcade room still maintained this sacred game just like before. How long has it been since participating in a terrorist raid like this? Cho In-ho excitedly leaned back and called for food, thanking the shop owner for still being open in these times. Give me a hot dog here, please. Min-jun was surprised and immediately looked over. Oh, is that a new dish? Meanwhile, the tired shop owner silently scolded him for eating so much. Both quickly refueled and began focusing on playing games. Min-jun propped his chin on his hand, sighed deeply, and thought idly. Is this for real? So after relieving all his worries in the game, he started searching for news online. The headline on the front page, monster damage increased by 48% compared to last year. The military prioritized protecting civilians. The government struggled to find countermeasures against increasing attacks. People evacuated due to sudden dungeon appearances. The following lines caused more public panic. Are we going to die like this? Looking at this news, it only increased Min-jun's suspicion. The soldier's words were all true. The enlistment date confirmed on the Military Service Bureau's page was also tomorrow. If he brought back full power from Iska, then Min-jun alone could handle all these danjin, but for some reason, now Min-jun's body was empty mana energy. The main source of dark magic power had disappeared. However, he was not easily defeated. Min-jun could still clear dark dungeons by himself. Then he confidently looked up at the sky and laughed like a madman. That's right. These ordinary danjin, I can handle them all alone. All right, that works perfectly. Min-jun smirked confidently. Just wait. I will solve everything. The next day, he was at the National Defense University. Min-jun casually brought a skewer of grilled meat to his mouth and enjoyed it while chewing eagerly. While glancing around, oh, so many people, contrary to Min-jun's attitude, everyone else was sadly saying goodbye to their relatives Chong-tae with a gloomy and regretful expression. Minjun walked through the crowd indifferently. Everyone was dejected. Suddenly, a loud shout ordered all soldiers to gather in the lecture hall. Immediately, please pay attention. Minjun walked while thinking idly, the army is no longer like before, right? Is it as harsh as Iska? After everyone gathered, a loud voice shouted, "Stand up straight, you guys here to play." Despite the crowded crowd, two soldiers kept babbling curses. "Want to crawl like bugs, huh? Keep your head up straight. Don't look sideways. Stay close to the person in front. Push harder. Consider pushing him to death. Get moving." The soldiers walked on bewildered. Meanwhile, Minjun was very delighted, mouth wide open at the harsh atmosphere here. Such a weak voice. He smiled, lightly proud. These assistant trainers are so gentle. Sang-soo waited until everyone was silent for a moment, then began to speak. Everyone pay attention before starting the schedule. I am Kim Sang-soo of the Korean Army. Anyone with hunter ability but not yet registered in the Hunter Army, raise your hand. As everyone knew, hunters were treated very differently. The basic salary for a rank 2 soldier is 300,000,001. However, what followed was a terrifying silence. Oh, no one, Sang-soo sadly frowned. Is this just a formality? Don't mind that. Next, a soldier behind hurriedly interrupted. The division commander over there has a Sang-soo. Surprised, he glanced back and forth, searching for some trace. Who? The soldier behind shouted loudly into the mic. The one who raised his hand stepped forward immediately. Minjun excitedly stepped up and shouted loudly. Clear and immediate, he stomped hard, cracking the ground. Minjun then leapt very high, causing the surrounding soldiers to be stunned. The commanding soldiers also looked up at him. This crazy guy. Then, with just one jump, Minjun landed safely on the stage. Sang-soo was stunned, not understanding what this strange creature was. Minjun looked up and smiled brightly as he introduced himself. Rookie Kim Minjun, I want to join the Hunter Army. Misty clouds cover the path in the Isra region northern area Forgotten Canyon on a large rugged mountain. A small cave appeared the deeper you went inside, the more you saw a column of light flashing along with a voice. So what I am saying is, Minjun sat on a spider, slowly recounting that this dark mage job has no end to the chaos and no character is worse, you know. He recalled some memories and said that although we have crazy skills, if we run out of dark energy, then it's all nothing. It will not naturally regenerate like the mana of ordinary mages. Mana is always beside you. Just collect it, I said. I have to frequently harvest it by defeating monsters with dark energy. Obviously, replenishing dark energy by using it is never effective. You understand, right? And because my job image is the worst, I can't find members. So if I accidentally run out of dark energy while in the dungeon, I only have the path of death left. Speaking of which, Minjun slightly curled his lips and smiled, and now the question is, what is the best method for a dark mage to replenish and retain their dark energy? Around it was completely silent, except for the crackling sound of fire. Minjun crossed his arms and sighed. At this moment, he was sitting on a dead spider. Everywhere in the cave were the corpses of giant spiders. Minjun clicked his tongue. No one answered him right, because they were all dead. Suddenly, a sharp object stabbed into the rocky ground. He glanced over the mouth and muttered at times like this. The place where Minjun was standing was the Forgotten Canyon, the spider dungeon boss lair. Seeing the spider queen approaching him, he laughed helplessly and whispered, Why isn't it the dungeon boss answering? Looking at that disgusting spider, Minjun asked why it came out now. I thought I would die of boredom. The spider queen looked around the cave. Dead spider corpses, poisoned, lay scattered everywhere. Its deformed shape angrily roared a sound echoing throughout the cave. Minjun still showed a calm face. That's your answer. Your breath smells too bad. Immediately, the spider queen lunged to attack him, but with just one hand, Minjun was able to stop it. He shook his head in exasperation, no wrong. Minjun's hand pierced through its head while the voice continued evenly. The answer is. He clenched his hand confidently, defeating the monster with maximum power. Isla, the pinnacle of dark magic, Mino Kim Minjun, 645 days before returning to Earth. Returning to the present time, a hand wearing a military uniform placed a hot teacup down his voice, booming, asked, Your name is Kim Minjun? He replied, Yes. Seung-hyun nodded and said, You wait here. A team from the Hunter Corps will arrive. Minjun picked up the hot teacup and smiled politely, the commander personally doing it. Thank you. Seung-hyun took a sip of tea and cautiously asked, I see you are very enthusiastic. Do you have any special reason? To register for the Hunter Corps non-stop for a while, he continued, because things are quite bad these days. Many people returned to the regular army despite having special abilities. Min Jun enthusiastically replied, "Yes, I have some business in the dark section," his words. Suddenly, the space around became unusually silent. After a while, Seong-hyun couldn't stand it anymore and burst out laughing. "You're really funny." Min Jun also laughed heartily and asked right. He laughed more and more uncontrollably. Seong-hyun teased, "Really a funny guy. I won't charge for the hall floor you smashed." Min Jun raised the teacup and took a sip, silently scolding in his head. "Stop laughing, old man. I'm not joking. All dungeons appearing in Korea are managed by the military, and the top priority related to them and monster conquest clearly belongs to the Hunter Corps. They include highly skilled individuals where you can level up regardless of your service time as long as you prove your ability. There are no limits." Imagining himself fighting monsters, Min Jun considered if he joined the Hunter Corps, he wouldn't be able to enter dungeons, right? I can clear most of them alone. And I'm sure I will encounter monsters with dark energy. When that happens along with super-fast progress, this is completely Min Jun's imagination. Reality might be different. He grinned, hiding a smile behind the teacup. "I don't have the ability to restore my lost strength." Placing the empty cup down, Min Jun sank into his thoughts. "I can reach 10 stars in 5 years. This is impossible and clear as many dungeons as possible afterward. The dungeon soldiers can relax and develop the fourth awakening." He rubbed his chin and smiled slyly, saying, "I will become a high-paid public hero." The perfect plan. At the same time outside, there was a knock on the door. A tall man entered, stood straight, and shouted, "Sergeant Lee Seung-ho of the Hunter Corps reporting." Seong-hyun smiled gently. "You finally arrived. This is the recruitment we reported." Min Jun was slightly surprised when he heard their conversation, but could only wonder silently. The battalion commander was speaking formally with a sergeant. They raised their eyebrows and asked him, "Do you really have hunter abilities?" He spoke in a firm tone. "If you have awakened as a hunter, you should be able to open a status window. Please show me all your stats." Min Jun smirked slightly and thought to himself, "What the hell is wrong with this guy? Are all the Hunter Corps like this now?" He lightly reached his hand forward, determined. "All right. If they tell me to do something in the army, I have to do it." Thinking carefully, they also have a status window in Iska, but I hardly used it at that time, because it only provides you with numerical values of your stats and abilities. I wonder how it works here. Min Jun pressed his hand on the screen in front of him, smiled slightly, and called out, "Status window." But suddenly, Min Jun turned to Seong-ho and asked, "What is it? Tell me what you see on the blue screen." A red line appeared. He stammered and couldn't form a sentence. Min Jun whispered, "It says there is an error." Seong-ho gritted his teeth. "This guy?" His face no longer showed patience. His voice also turned cold. "Are you kidding me?" At the same time, somewhere in the Hunter Corps Training Center from the battalion command office, a familiar loud voice rang out. "Long time no see." Seong-haeon stood with his hands clasped behind his back, smiling slightly. "I last met you at Wanchain, so it's been about 15 years, right? I didn't expect to see you here." He looked at the woman standing formally before him and said, "First, why don't you sit down?" Hunter Sun Unsu coldly denied, "I'm not a hunter yet. Like everyone else who enlisted here. I'm just a rookie." She maintained her serious demeanor and replied, "I can say that myself. But if you called me here because of my father, I don't want special treatment." Chong Ti. During his training time, Seong-hyun gently laughed. "I might have given you the wrong impression." This is a separate matter from your son," Chung said teasingly. "Clearly you won't receive any special treatment during your training. The Hunter Corps is not an easy organization. Didn't you already know that from your father?" Sun Un-soo bowed her head hesitantly. "Because I saw she seemed embarrassed." Shung-hee seriously continued, "Such a famous rookie has enlisted, so there's no way I wouldn't care about the work here." "Training here. Right, you'll be busy immediately, so I want to say a few encouraging words beforehand. It's not easy to choose to enlist as an ordinary soldier instead of an executive. We always lack people like you on the field. I thank you as a citizen of this nation." As a soldier, Sun Un-soo cleared her throat and said, "Thank you, Commander, for the encouragement," outwardly confident. But inside she thought, "I'm so embarrassed." He turned his head to look at the small car approaching the building. After a moment of silence, Seong-hyun spoke up. "I just remembered I received a funny report today," he said mysteriously. "You might get a really interesting comrade. Do you want to go meet him with me?" Sun Un-soo's eyes widened, unsure how to respond. A little later, still at the central building, Min Jun looked up with an unmistakable expression of surprise. He muttered to himself while walking, "Oh my God, how much tax money have they poured into this place? This facility is no joke. Do they have a computer room here?" Seeing his rustic demeanor, Seung-ho warned in a low voice, "Don't get too excited about recruitment. Your joining the Hunter Corps hasn't been decided yet." He frowned and said seriously as he walked ahead, "Because you are a special case. I will personally check you. Without the headquarters decision, I wouldn't have dragged you here and to Yongchan immediately." Min Jun was behind so angry he gritted his teeth and gums. But he couldn't do anything, yes. Seung-ho warned him when all the tests were completed. "And you are confirmed to be a liar. Be ready to enlist immediately into the military police." Min Jun annoyedly thought to himself that he was too stingy about everything. Then he asked, Yes, what is the test?" Seung-ho tapped his hand on a bloodstone, pointing at the stone as he said, "If you manage to move this even just 1 inch, you will pass." Seung-ho's eyes flashed with a cold gleam. "I will give you 10 minutes. In his mind, he thought, well, if you have any talent like a hunter, prove it. This mineral is bloodstone, a byproduct created from dungeons. It is not only extremely dense and heavy for its size, but also particularly tough. At this size, it wouldn't even budge by a recruit." Min Jun, after receiving the task, slightly smirked and asked back, "Is that all?" He confidently stepped past Seung-ho. "I'm glad the test is very simple." Min Jun's arrogance made him frown in annoyance as he watched the confident figure approach the bloodstone. Seung-ho looked on disdainfully. "There's no way to check another status window. There are always trash trying to exploit the Hunter Corps with mediocre abilities." He crossed his arms. With a scowl, he jumped 5 meters high right on the status window. Error. Completely nonsense. At the same time, Seung-hyun was standing on a high railing looking down. He said it was him. Seung-hyun looked and smiled slightly. He clearly demonstrated incredible physical ability in front of the battalion commander at the training center. But his status window showed an error. I've never heard of such a case. "As the training commander of the Hunter Corps, I have high hopes to see how unique this recruit will be." Min Jun stepped forward and touched the bloodstone, silently analyzing. "This is something found throughout the dark dungeons of Iska, ridiculously heavy mineral." Seeing his reflection on it, he smirked confidently. "At this size, I can easily push it away." Thinking that, Min Jun clenched his fist and swung his arm back. Seung-ho nearby frowned in curiosity. Above, Son Un-seo was also intently watching his every move. Min Jun arrogantly thought to himself, who knows? There might even be some dark energy inside it. He forcefully punched the bloodstone block. Immediately, large cracks appeared on the bloodstone's surface, and then it shattered into pieces after Min Jun's punch. He smirked arrogantly. It would be terrible if there was nothing. Everyone was stunned with their mouths agape. Seung-ho was speechlessly amazed looking at the destroyed bloodstone smoking. He could only scream in his head, calling it bloodstone. Seung clenched his teeth, sweat dripping down. "This is crazy." He looked at Min Jun stunned, staring at his hand after the punch. His hand was still spotless, nothing inside. He chuckled, truly a freak. And Hyuk was panting, mouth open, eyes wide, looking terrified. Something not just him, but everyone in the military division was exerting themselves to breathe and run. There was something wrong before enlisting in the Hunter Corps. And in Hyuk silently knew that training wouldn't be simple because you would join real battles right after the training process, as you would train like crazy for 4 weeks. Like carrying sandbags from day 1 and climbing 6,000 steps uphill, and that was not enough, the instructor constantly urged while checking completion times. It's something everyone looked forward to. People often called him Lee Seung-ho, a.k.a. the demon instructor. Running with his teammates, he still tried to encourage himself. With such brutal physical training methods, you can only increase your stats a little. I think everyone will have to endure all this hardship. Because you are a rookie in the Corps, but that's what I think. Suddenly, Min Jun, who was behind, suddenly sprinted ahead to lead, making In Hyuk suspicious. But what the hell happened to that bastard? "We are the problem." He was rushing up the steps as if gliding on them. "I feel my body is very light. If I still had all my mana, I might even fly." My legs kept running steadily while my head kept thinking about the Hunter Corps' hellish training course. It seemed great, and compared to the torn clothes in Iska, the uniform was exactly my favorite style. Remembering the clean dining hall with plenty of dishes, Min Jun could immediately throw up here. The food here is truly overwhelming. Not just the food, but now there is also a reasonable schedule assigned, and above all, after the schedule ends. Instead of taking turns on night duty, you will have free time. The more you think about the free time, your legs feel like they have jet propulsion running more enthusiastically. They said there is a PC room inside. The facility is on par with external configurations, and as long as you don't sneak out, they won't bother you after completing the schedule. I kept thinking I would use any remaining magic. Force left to escape from here. If I don't like it, a satisfied smile appears on his lips as the destination gets closer. They give you training and delicious food, pay generously, and give you time to play games. He raised his head high, looking forward. A moment later, he shouted fiercely, "The Hunter Legion is the best!" In-hyuk was exasperated. He ran faster already. How could that be? Truly unexpected, the teammate was frustrated. "I don't know, don't talk to me up here." Seung-ho was already waiting. A loud running sound echoed. Seeing Min-jun's dark face and ghost-like running speed stunned him. What the hell is that? His right foot placed on the final peak, he sighed in relief. That's done. Seung-ho's inner thoughts were more astonished than Kim Min-jun's. He smiled slyly like a fool admiring the scenery. "The view from here is wonderful." Seung-ho calculated the time. What kind of monster is that? Normally it takes about an hour for a rookie soldier, yet he finished it. Suddenly, Min-jun's gaze stopped at him full of suspicion. Indeed, a moment later, he passed by him looking around, recalling the generous reward. Didn't he say we would get a ticket to go outside? If the completion time is less than 30 minutes, I wonder how much time I spent finishing it. He frowned, still pulling out a piece of paper. Min-jun grabbed it and went to a corner to open and check. "Where should I use this?" Seung-ho smirked, pressing his watch. "Has any rookie ever received a ticket before?" Seeing Min-jun excitedly starting up, he didn't bother to speak, but high stats and good physique aren't everything. The most important thing is reaction ability. And dealing with monsters, his eyes were sinister. "I will observe you more carefully, Kim Min-jun." In the Legion's common room, members all held their backs, complaining that every day like this would kill their backs. In-hyuk looked at the system displaying increased endurance. Smiling brightly, the stats increased. My endurance increased by 1 already. Teammates nearby shared the joy, congratulating him. Other members happily asked each other, "What was your initial stat? I have to check mine, too." In Min-jun's status window, it seemed scarce. Did I hear wrong? They were happy with just 1 additional stat point. Remembering the time at Iska, he used himself when training there. His stats increased by 10 every day. "What you want to increase stats, you bastard?" Jin Seo, sitting next to Han, asked. "Did you try to get the ticket?" When to use it, Min-jun shook his head. "I'm not sure." The teammate teased, "I'm jealous of you." He explained, "I heard the instructor said before. They said no one has ever gotten a ticket to go outside from Sergeant Lai Dao." In-hyuk also approached. "What's the secret? Do you exercise regularly?" Jin Seo was excited. "That's unbelievable." He suspected these people were laughing at him. The time at Iska had haunted his mind. When he was a dark mage, people at Iska didn't want to meet his eyes, thinking it was a bad omen. "Where is the restroom?" Seeing teammates here so friendly. It made Min-jun think differently. Communication wasn't as bad as he thought. In-hyuk invited. "The PC room is open." "Are you going?" Jin Seo refused. "I don't have the strength to play anymore," but he stood up as soon as he heard PC room open. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" A minute later, immersed in the PC room, he felt like returning to his true world. He calculated, since it's 9 o'clock now, I should have at least 2 hours to sleep. Previously at Isra, he never got enough sleep. Sleeping 1 hour was considered a luxury. 2 hours was a huge reward. Min-jun's gaming skills became more refined. He would dispel daily fatigue with these game sessions. The teammate opposite had to be cautious. Was he playing League of Legends? There are still people playing that game. Under the hot sun, Seung-ho still shouted loudly, "Commander, don't increase the distance, maintain the speed. If any rookie can't complete 40 kilometers in 2 hours, they won't get breakfast." "Is it clear now altogether?" "Yes, sir." Min-jun, satisfied, took a sip of water. "I reached a maximum of level 10 yesterday." Sang Ha-young stood beside, panting, looking at him, still handsome and radiant. "Kim Min-jun, you didn't even sweat a drop." He waved his hand, saying it was just a walk, but you doubted it. "But you really played games all night and only slept 2 hours for 4 weeks. Are you a monster or what?" He looked annoyed when called a monster and pretended to want to pour out the water. "Monster? I was even going to bring water to share with my beloved teammates. I guess you don't need it." He hurriedly put out his hand to catch it. "I just said you have abnormal stamina." "Sir, my beloved teammates all turned into crying chickens, begging for water. Please grant us holy water." Min-jun laughed mockingly. "You guys are like little chicks." The brief joy was interrupted by the sound of authoritative footsteps. The low voice of Myung-chon declared attention. Everyone's eyes turned to him to listen. The lieutenant was very disappointed in all of you. Although this is the final training course, you are the worst squad, Chong-ti. The lieutenant is very disappointed. Min-jun's face froze. Why is he referring to himself in the third person? He continued to announce that if you are deployed to fight after training, I guess half of you will die within a month and a half. Do you think I'm lying? His stern face was terrifying. With that mindset, do you think you can complete the final training phase? Customized dungeon training. Wait a minute. What is customized dungeon training? Usually the dungeon disappears after you defeat all the monsters and the boss. But sometimes there are dungeons that still remain, Chong-ti in that case. It will become a transforming dungeon and change its internal structure daily, becoming a great training facility to become all kinds of different environments. In actual dungeon training in the transforming dungeon is customized dungeon training. Sang Hai-eun was worried. Customized dungeon training is notorious. The other teammates also panicked. Do we have to do it now? We're done for. Seeing their panic, he was pleased. They are agitated well. They must maintain this level of tension. It's very good to control new soldiers as if they are horse racing. When they need discipline, you have to hold the reins tight. He pretended to comfort them while internally he was delighted. And when they are stressed, we will comfort them with a carrot. Don't be discouraged. If you are smart, nothing will happen. Myung-cheon made an attractive offer, and the highest scorer will receive a 3-day, 2-night resort ticket. He thought silently, now is the time to get excited. But everyone was still gloomy. He slammed the table to encourage. You hear me? A 3-day, 2-night resort ticket. Don't you want to go out? Doesn't this make you fired up? Seeing the silence below, he wondered what the hell was wrong with them. Do they want to stay here until they die? Below, only Min-jun's eyes shone brightly. Why was only one person excited? He muttered, awesome. The next day, everyone was brought to the dungeon. At first glance, everyone complained, what is this? Why is it so big? Is this a dungeon? The day the customized dungeon training started. Sang Hai-hai's pale face. What do they want us to do in there? The person next to him pointed. I think it's a rice camp. Suddenly, a vehicle rushed from behind, knocking 2 people back. He had to dust himself off to see clearly. Suddenly, 2.5, what are you doing here? Seeing the noisy crowd, Min-jun kept an eye on them and saw eyes like glowing dots appear. They suspected they were. Gradually, the glowing dots got closer, the figure became clearer, and it was the hunting dogs. Jin Seo startled and stepped back. It was the first time I saw the monsters so close. Min-jun sneered, why be so scared? They are just like mantis dogs or chihuahuas. Myung-cheon scolded the rookies. Why are you so scared? Those are the monsters you need to face. They panicked. You want me to face them? He loudly announced, you will form a team of 4 rookies to enter the transformed dungeon. All teams will fight a hunting dog within 1 hour and return here. Before letting them do the mission, he reminded them not to forget to increase their core strength if injured. If you're scared, use your mind to focus on fighting them. Everyone clear all together. Yes, sir, understood. He urged, then hurry up. Seung-ho adjusted again. He went up one by one. The provided items were the exclusive protective armor of the Mid-2 Hunter Corps was produced for mechanical body protection designed to be extremely rough and heavy. Wearing that suit, Jin Seo looked around for more. They didn't provide us with anything else besides this. The whole body is staggering. I think my leg is about to break. He hasn't put it on yet. He has to look it over first. This thing is neither comfortable nor effective except for body protection. This thing costs 50,000,001 Min-jun imagines. They must have really used it thoroughly because it's extremely expensive. I can smell their sweat and passion. It truly is an item with a magnificent aura. I don't like it. He went up and asked the lieutenant, I have a question. If we can defeat the wolf pack quickly, can we take these suits off? The guy snapped. Why are you so arrogant? The rookie turned around and immediately noticed Mi-gyun-cheon's face change 180 degrees. Is that you, rookie ranked number 1, Kim Min-jun? If you want to snap your fingers, remember this is a team training session. You can't just excel alone to see if our number 1 rookie Kim Min-jun can stand alongside teammates. He clearly heard and paid attention to one thing. This is a team training session. Jin Seo and Sang Hee-eon were still struggling with how to deal with the hunting dogs. How can we confront the hunting dogs with just this? We need to have a plan. Min-jun stroked his chin, thinking simply. I just need to tell them how to defeat the hunting dogs. Right thinking it must be done, he immediately deployed to those 2 guys here. Listen to me, I will present my plan. Are you curious about my plan? He excitedly explained that the hunting dogs will jump at you to kill you. When they do that, don't be afraid. Grab their legs and break their backs in half. Not only that, but also wave your arms to illustrate. If the distance is wide like that, they will die. But if they are still alive, meet them again from the opposite direction and tear them apart, as if everyone is tearing kimchi. His eyes were full of hope, but it seemed the two of them did not really believe it. Time was up. Myung-cheon ordered to release. Seong-ho stepped forward to open the cage. The hungry hunting dogs were just waiting for that. As soon as the door was open, they rushed out like crazy, jumping into the dungeon. Jin-seo was a bit surprised. They went into the dungeon instead of attacking us. He explained that they had been captured all day and their home had just appeared. Why wouldn't they go home? The two of them immediately agreed happily. Makes sense. Do you think it's reasonable? They asked Han Min-jun, how do you know the psychology of those monsters so well? Recalling a previous statement, someone once told him, you are a monster, a real monster. Please let me go, because he had done that before. Of course, he didn't say it out loud. For fear that everyone would be shocked, Myung-cheon pointed and scolded, are you joking and laughing on this sacred training ground? Do you want to die? You startled and denied it? No. He grumbled and ordered all right. The lieutenant decided the first team to enter would be you guys. Everyone stood up. We are the first team Seong-ho commanded to enter. His team entered together. All four strode toward the dungeon. Min-jun encouraged, it will be fine. If I could take off this heavy and dirty suit, the sooner the better. I will welcome them with open arms. Jin-seo teased, are you sure? Mi-hyun-cheon spoke into the radio the training guidance team has started, prepare to control the situation. If things get out of control and the rookies are in danger, the guidance team quickly received the order. Yes, sir. Just as he finished speaking, they saw Min-jun's team enter. Ho-jun reported the situation, Corporal Kim Min-ju. The rookies have arrived, a team of 4, no one else. Han-jun scanned anything else. Ho-jun continued looking at that guy walking with Kim Min-jun. He paid special attention to Min-jun. Are you here? Kim Min-jun is a special subject to be watched. The rookie showed the most outstanding strength in the first round. Lost in thought, he forgot the eyes still shining. Chong-Ti's score over the past 4 weeks was excellent. But could he stand out in this dungeon? The hunting dogs hidden behind the ice cover ran in a line swiftly. Min-jun looked around thinking, are they ready to come out yet? They must be very hot. Their silhouettes appeared, but he didn't show a trace of fear. I can end all of them by breaking their heads when they pounce, but the other teammates have no combat experience. Is that right? He reminded me to be careful, they are really coming here, sang Hai. Why are you looking so confused? What's coming? He smiled mysteriously. What do you think? If it's a pack of hungry hunting dogs lunging with open mouths, showing sharp fangs, Jin-seo stepped back fearfully. They are here. He reassured, don't be afraid, our armor is very strong. Min-jun volunteered to go first. I think I'll be the one to go first. Which one of you wants to rush in first? They didn't understand, only saw his annoying posture and immediately jumped fiercely. One lunged at Sang-hyun, growling, causing him to slip. Min-jun was attacked by one trying to bite his leg, but his agile body avoided it. Is that you? He decisively punched the hunting dog's mouth, making it fall backward, groaning. After struggling, it left the fight. Now Jin-seo was not so lucky. He was bitten on the arm, crying for help. Help me! Its eyes were fierce, threatening anyone who tried to intervene. But who is Min-jun? He kicked it away lightly, its body hitting the ice block and even piercing through the fur it had to leave the fight. Yes, he instructed, if they bite you, you have to fight back. They will think you are a small prey if you keep being afraid. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. He teased. Why are you using honorifics when we are teammates? The young man recognized him immediately and panicked. Sorry about that. Min-jun scolded, if what happened earlier had happened, both of you would definitely be dead. We are more numerous than them, so use that as an advantage and put pressure on them. In-hyuk agreed, that's right. If you put pressure on them, they will be terrified. Keep pushing them and wait for them to calm down. Ho-jun was amazed at the impressive performance of him fighting alone against 2 dogs. Is he really just a rookie? Han-jun pointed, are you talking about Kim Min-jun? He explained that usually the fear of rookies makes them unable to do anything, but under Kim Min-jun's guidance, they escaped fear. He looked at Min-jun as if nothing had happened. Could that guy be the sergeant of the Hunter Corps who returned exactly the day before he enlisted? He was stunned. Such things only exist in Chong-Tai's novels. Han-jun praised anyway. He not only tried to solve them with his strength, but also had leadership skills by encouraging and cooperating with his teammates. Therefore, Kim Min-jun deserves the highest score. The others will get average scores. Seeing the situation looking promising, the two of them revealed themselves. "Well done, guys. Go out this way." Jin Seo naively asked, "Are these the guides here?" The whole group followed Min-jun, secretly probing, "Give us the scores, right? Can I get a break yet?" He immediately snapped back. "Shut up. Do you think we will tell you?" He laughed mockingly. "You guys care about the rookies. You guys are like big Tisseranders." Ho was startled when he heard that. The Tisserander, with steady steps, stopped in front of the dungeon. The dungeon door shook violently, causing their group to stop. Han-jun was stunned as the door gradually narrowed. "Sergeant Kim Ho-jun, that's him. Hurry, turn on the radio and broadcast outside quickly." Jin Seo still couldn't figure out what surprise was happening. "Is it an earthquake?" Min-jun understood and was very calm. "It's not an earthquake," he explained. "It's a transforming dungeon. It's just transforming right now." He covered his head to protect himself. "What will happen?" Suddenly his eyes opened wide and his mouth stammered. "Wait, the fading door is closing. The exit is closing by itself." Jin Seo's eyes widened in panic as he shouted, "What the hell is going on?" Han-jun looked back angrily and couldn't help cursing, "Damn it." Seeing that, Min-jun frowned, thinking it was probably too late to leave now. Inside the pitch-black gate with fierce energy flows, he realized something was wrong. Next to him, Han-jun also shouted into the radio, "Sergeant Kim Ho-jun." The radio was not working. The dungeon was transforming too fast. The people nearby echoed, "It will take more than a month." The internal structure of the dungeon transformed again. "Why is this happening?" "Evacuate the kids to a safe place first." Inside, the dungeon is gradually cracking. Ho-jun stood with his hands on his hips, watching the people around still collapsing as he announced, "As you have seen, an unexpected incident happened in the dungeon." Then he reassured the group, "But don't worry, we will wait here for about an hour and observe if the exit reopens or not." They all started to chatter while Ho-jun was still worried and sweating. "Really, just waiting for 1 hour to get out is already good. I thought we would be stuck here." I was really panicked, hearing them say that. He just forced a smile and added that, "I bet the people outside are also assessing the situation. The lieutenant will come up with an appropriate solution, so all we need to do is calmly wait instead of worrying." Behind, Min-jun also crossed his arms and watched with some suspicion, his expression somewhat doubtful, silently thinking. The reason they continue training here is because they are sure that this dungeon will not have any unexpected situations like this. In front of them is a door tightly closed with chains and a padlock. An unexpected situation is really worrying when the dungeon entrance suddenly closes. Suddenly, Han-jun rushed over, making him pay attention. Sergeant Kim Ho-jun looked at those whispering to each other silently, thinking the trainer has realized it as he thought. "The situation doesn't seem too good." Han-jun-len glanced secretly and muttered to Sergeant Kim. "Ho-jun, you intend to Hozu quickly interrupted. Wait, go somewhere else first." He judged they were reacting calmly. But very likely there is no practical guidance for situations like this. He crossed his arms, staring at them and sinking into thought. If this dungeon becomes a closed dungeon, it might be harder to defeat than he thought. But it's just a complicated situation. Not the worst because I am here. The two others stood deep inside the cave talking to each other. This must be the worst case. Ho-jun's face showed some worry, hand on chin, muttering, "I'm sure you already know." "This dungeon has turned into a closed dungeon." Han-jun heard that and shouted what he panicked and kept talking non-stop. "If it's a closed dungeon, really a closed dungeon, is that true? No one warned about this, damn." It next to him, dissatisfied, reminded him, "Don't you have any idea?" "What were you going to say earlier?" Then Ho-jun calmly looked around. There are two cases when the dungeon entrance disappears first. The dungeon disappears. The dungeon will automatically disappear after being defeated. His expression became more serious as he added, "And the second case is a closed dungeon. The gate disappears when outsiders enter." Then Ho-jun thought about the dungeon tunnels. When we are inside the dungeon, it is turned into a closed dungeon. That means the gate has disappeared and surely many monsters will appear. The only way to escape a closed dungeon is to defeat each monster inside. Han-jun's eyes were full of panic as he realized, meaning he looked up and confirmed that's right. There is no way to get support from outside. After returning, Ho-jun sank into thought about the current formation: 4 inexperienced rookies and 2 instructors. He turned to look back at the team who were full of worry following behind. "The 6 of us must conquer this dungeon." Just as I thought, since informing them of the real situation, all have become tense. We don't know which monsters have appeared. If unlucky, this could be the end for all of us. He looked at his two hands, furrowed his brows with determination, but just sitting still won't do. We have to keep moving while we still have energy. It would be better if the instructors are fully equipped, he thought ahead. An orc crawled out from the cave as he sank into thought about this situation. Just the goblins alone are enough to wipe out our team because it takes me more than 10 minutes to defeat one, he said. Then Ho-Jun turned his head to look at Jin Seo. The most feasible and practical action plan is, they wear special armor utilizing the protective clothing that the rookies were equipped with. He gritted his teeth, somewhat annoyed by those heavy and stupid outfits. Then imagined using him as bait to lure the orcs. If we use defensive abilities and let the rookies go first, the instructors can defeat the monsters. When they are held back by them, Ho-Jun hesitated and turned his head to look, but the rookies behind were also a bit embarrassed, bowing their heads. Then he remembered the tough training process. Their hardship, but until now these bastards have trusted us and endured the exhausting training process, as seniors using juniors as meat shields. Immediately after he decided to lead the way, his pride would not allow it. Behind, Min-Jun still calmly observed around. The rookie in front clenched his teeth anxiously. We are already in the final training week and still encounter a dungeon accident. Suddenly he seemed to sense something, opened his eyes, wide-stopped, and looked around. Even Han-Jun found it hard to understand. He doubted something was wrong, and it made him suddenly alert. Rookie Kim Min-jun right after that. The growling sound caused panic throughout the group. Ho-Jun grabbed his neck, squeezing tightly, his body arched backward. As he cried out in pain, the soldier fell to the ground. His mouth continuously foamed, white veins bulging. Seeing this, he quickly ran over in panic. Corporal Kim Ho-Jun, behind Min-Jun, also reached out to stop him. "Don't run," his sharp gaze muttered. "Even if you run now." Both Ho-Jun and Han-Jun collapsed to the ground in pain, foaming at the mouth. He concluded there was no way to save him. Screams of panic echoed from the soldiers. "Are you okay?" On this side, Min-Jun calmly reminded them, "Everyone step back. If you get any closer, you'll face the same situation." Next, Min-Jun sat down looking at them, foaming at the mouth, unconscious on the ground, concluding it wasn't serious, they were just fainted. He wasn't surprised either. Next, he raised his head and looked in a certain direction. "I think I smelled a familiar scent," he said, immediately grabbing it. He turned and threw 2 soldiers toward the 3 rookies behind him. Min-Jun's face was determined as he shouted, warning them not to follow him. "Just stand near the exit." "What? Where are you going? Stop, it's dangerous." Even the soldiers fainted. But Min-Jun ignored them and quickly dashed toward the dark tunnel behind. The rookies shouted anxiously, "You might die, are you crazy?" Turning back, Kim Min-Jun ran a good distance, a satisfied smile unconsciously spreading across his face. He was excited to death. It really exists on Earth. He thought of the one with a skull-like head that dispersed energy, causing the other 2 to faint. Dark energy was the reason the 2 soldiers fainted. Min-Jun's face was full of excitement as he rushed forward. It was no surprise that even awakened soldiers fainted. Then he thought about the mage who summoned the legion. Even the Isgar people were covered with a special protective layer to shield them from dark energy. Before facing the monsters, the more he thought, the more excited he became, his eyes containing a satisfied smile. It was even more dangerous for normal people, however. Min-Jun thought about the phone and charger, concluding that for dark mages, dark energy was equivalent to a charger for a dead phone right in front of him. A huge energy wave was rolling. He shouted loudly, "Here it is!" The dark energy surged below with a glowing rock inside. He carefully stepped inside the dark tunnel. Min-Jun stood silently observing around. Too quiet, he couldn't find any traces of monsters nearby, hesitating a bit. However, Min-Jun looked up and smiled, satisfied at the beast growling and clinging to a stone pillar, drooling, looking at Min-Jun with admiration. "You think you emit such a strong aura of dark energy, that you can hide in front of a dark sorcerer?" His face showed some joy as he raised his hand to touch his chin. "I didn't expect to meet you here, Darkhound." Seeing this, the Darkhound growled and drooled angrily, explaining about this purple dark creature, the Darkhound. Of course, it cannot be equated with a dog just because it has that name. They were a completely overwhelming species compared to ordinary hunting dogs. He recalled when he was chased to near death by it. "I think the first time I met that bastard was about a year after I was summoned to Iska. I almost died because I had never seen a monster like that on Earth. I tried to attack it. Now it was the same lunging toward Min-Jun, but he remained calm. Anyway, I'm glad to see a familiar face. Immediately after he bared his teeth, braced his gun, smiled, and then threw a punch that knocked the dog against the wall. Thanks for the meal. The dog was hit hard, teeth, broken dark energy spilling out. His face was somewhat judgmental as he looked at Shiro in his hand. The smell of blood is still disgusting as ever. The energy spilled out randomly. Minjun's hand reached out calmly. The huge dark energy surged out after it died. That was why dark hounds were very hard to defeat, because their blood was poisonous. When normal people came into contact with it, their skin would rot. Next, he absorbed the huge energy wave into his body. The energy surged out aimlessly as Minjun's hand reached out calmly. The huge dark energy spilled out after it died. That is why dark hounds are very hard to defeat, because their blood is poisonous. When normal people come into contact with it, their skin will rot. Then he absorbed the huge energy into his body. His hand reached out and absorbed all that dark energy. His face full of excitement, smiling, his body also clearly felt the transformation, of course. It had no effect on the dark sorcerer inside, but the phone was also gradually displaying the battery level, feeling really excited when absorbing dark energy for the first time. After such a long time. I think I have charged it about 5% already. His face is somewhat determined, his hand continuously absorbing energy, silently thinking, but how come dark hounds are usually only found in Iska? Yet they appear in a place like this. I had thought that the monsters on Earth absorbed dark energy afterward. Minjun recalled Hojun and Hanjun fainting earlier, but judging by the reaction of the instructors, this might be the first time this has happened, and there was no mention of dark energy or that bastard's name. During the monster training at the center, it's likely that dark hounds can move between dimensions. They do not exist. He thought back to himself as he reached out to open the dark gate. That could only be the result of people like him, those who have reached the pinnacle of dark magic. Then he thought of the saintess. She was praying with her hands clasped. Or maybe it was the saints people who can use the power of gods. It's not a skill, but something anyone can use. Then he withdrew his hand, his gaze somewhat scrutinizing, silently wondering if he was overthinking. This is the first time dark hounds have appeared in Korea. Has this really never happened before? Then he stood on the rock hollow, putting his hand on his forehead, looking down at the corpse of the dark hound below. So where is its body? I need it to make a report. He excitedly looked down at the corpse, found it, while Hojun frowned tightly, lying on the ground with a sweaty face. A call rang out, making him gradually open his eyes. The instructor faced the blurry face of the rookie, staring at him worriedly, shouting, "Please wake up." I think his eyes just opened a little. "Really wake up now, soldier. Are you okay?" The instructor suddenly seemed to remember something and sat up, shouting, causing the group to panic. "What, Hojun? Look around. Is everyone okay?" The person next to him supporting Hanjun was also confused. "I thought they were zombies." Then Hanjun woke up. "Damn it, what the hell happened?" He was urgent. "Is anyone hurt?" The rookie startled. "We're all fine," but Jin Seo's face was full of worry as he reported that Kim Min-jun had gone deeper into the dungeon alone. He was worried, shouting, "What, he's still reckless? What happened inside?" Quickly explaining to Hojun, "Yes, I know what happened." He worriedly grabbed Jin Seo's shoulder and shook him continuously. "So that bastard acted like that?" He awkwardly replied, "Yes, that's right." Hearing that, he gritted his teeth, both angry and worried inside. How dare he act like that? This is a dangerous situation. Just his attitude alone is enough to have him kicked out immediately. "But do I have the authority to say that instead of protecting the rookies, I fainted?" Hojun calmed down. "No, I shouldn't waste time thinking nonsense like this. I need to go rescue Kim Min-jun immediately." Suddenly, a rookie pointed ahead. The instructor looked. Look, Min-jun is carrying the dark hound on his back, calmly approaching the group. "Is everyone okay?" Seeing him, Hojun was also shocked. "What the hell is that? Is that a hunting dog next to Hanjun, eyes wide pointing?" "Yes, sir, but doesn't it look a bit different than usual?" Immediately afterward, he threw the dog down in front of them calmly. "Please take a look at this bastard." Hojun bent down to examine it. "This bastard knocked us out." Next to him, Jin Seo agreed, looking at the dog. "I think so." Jin Seo's eyes widened in shock. What the hell, Kim Min-jun defeated such a big monster alone? Another rookie nearby was also amazed. If the one we defeated was light class, this one must be heavy class. Next to Min-jun, he grinned, wiping his forehead with his hand. "I won't think about this anymore." Suddenly, something shone, catching his attention. In front of them was a dungeon gate. The gate was opening. Behind, Hojun stepped forward, touching his shoulder in surprise. "Kim Min-jun, did you really defeat that dark hound alone?" Behind, Hojun stepped forward and touched his shoulder in surprise. Kim Min-jun, did you really defeat that dark hound by yourself? Seeing his worry, he just smiled and nodded calmly, confirming I understand. Then he turned around and instructed to escort the new recruits outside. I will follow behind Han-jun, also looking up to confirm, yes, sir. 3 new soldiers quickly stepped out from the gate. Ho-jun stood silently watching him and sighed. Kim Min-jun, once you go out, I want you to report all the details to Lieutenant Min-jun calmly. He sighed, closed his eyes, lifted his hat off his head full of worries, and said, don't forget anything, including how useless your guides were. Then he covered his face, opened one eye to secretly look at him. Anyway, we were knocked out and the rookies had to handle everything themselves, and we have no excuses. Even if sent to the military prison, suddenly he made a proposal that surprised Min-jun a bit. Well, thanks to you, everyone is safe. I appreciate that. Right after that, he scratched his head and smiled in Ho-jun's surprise, making me feel embarrassed. Then he raised his hand to wait for the hat to be pulled down and urged, as a man I have to admit when things get worse. Anyway, we should go back. Then he turned and stepped out of the damn dungeon gate. Now I don't know how to write it. About the thing that made me faint again. Probably will lose sleep again tonight. He also turned his head to look after that figure. Being praised in the last week of training like this. Well, it's time for me to go out, right? Suddenly a system frame appeared, startling Min-jun. Above it displayed error has been fixed. He looked at it confused, frowning. What the hell is this? Error has been fixed, huh? Anyway, what kind of damn error is this? His eyes full of anger, glaring at it. This stupid system is ridiculous, just like the way... On the system board displayed Kim Min-jun's stats. Founder of the Lumi Luna Church is my favorite character. Strength 60, agility 60, stamina 10, magic power 60, skills possessed decay, rank E. Seeing these stats, he shouted angrily, "Something is strange here. Is that all? Only that much?" Then Min-jun suddenly realized in panic how the hell did it end up in the status window. He thought of the character Lumi Chongtier, smiling gently. The Lumi Luna Church is my favorite character. Lumi is a Chongtier character, a powerful dungeon fighter. When I reached the peak of dark magic back in Iska, I created that church as a joke to drive those crazies away. The people following me were like tailing kids. Before that, the crazy people in the church tried to lure him. Lord Mino, please rule the world with us. What Lumi Luna is my favorite character. What is that? I really love that name. But he just looked at them calmly and refused. This is my kind of person. So go bother someone else, he thought with annoyance. After all, that only attracted more crazies. He touched his chin seriously, examining the stats. Seems like I have weakened a lot. The stats are worse than I thought. Min-jun thought of his formerly strong identity, who could unlock the dark space gate. After his return, he noticed all his dark energy had vanished. I wonder if it's some kind of punishment. For moving back and forth between dimensions, the system emphasized making him confused. The skill decay E is the only one left from his infinitely long skill list. Only one skill remains. And it's a low-level skill, too. Min-jun's face showed suspicion, frowning, thinking the effect of decay might be a stomachache. He thought about the story he crossed into feeling confused. Damn, this isn't some third-rate novel, is it? It's really too absurd, makes me want to vomit. Min-jun's expression grew more embarrassed as he crossed his arms and stared at the system board. I can't achieve any goal. If things keep going like this, yet his eyes remained calm. Thinking to himself, I am still the one who reached the highest realm of dark magic when I ruled Iska because I once achieved the absolute level in the past. Not that I can't do it again. Then he thought about the big company in the late afternoon. Right now, I have a clear goal to recover my strength as soon as possible because the game company's development is delayed by the monsters. Currently, Min-jun raised his hand to his forehead and sighed, thinking that task could be done. Finally, he calmly stepped out of the dungeon door, which was nothing. Compared to the time in Isgar when the only thing I could do was endure and wait the game company the next morning at the center, the entire training center fell into chaos. Before that, Ho-jun and Han-jun pointed toward the closed dungeon and awkwardly turned to look at Seong-hyun because the fact was the dungeon gate had been closed when Chong tea time. Training because the fact that the captain had not given any clear instructions. The Dark Dog was defeated while the instructors were helpless due to an unpredictable chain of events. The rookies who were supposed to be promoted to private second class, and enjoy freedom when temporarily released for 5 hours, but had to stay inside the training center's locker room. The trainees sat there chatting. We must be cursed. When will we get out of this waiting time? With a series of crazy events happening during the previous training week, at least they should have let us watch TV or something. This is such a waste of time. Someone crossed their arms, doubting if Kim Min-jun really caught that hunting dog himself. Jin Seo smiled at him, confirming, "It's huge, damn huge. I thought it was a cow, not a dog. The first time I saw it, that's its name." He still doubted, really. The chatter continued inside the locker room. "Don't you think Kim Min-jun could be promoted to sergeant within 2 years? Haven't you heard about the Hunter Corps promotion test? I heard most of them are assigned as non-commissioned officers even after 5 years there. Seems like it. There are even hunters assigned as private first class. Sounds sad. Huh." In another room of the training area, Min-jun stood at attention, saluting. "Private second class Kim Min-jun reporting." Opposite him, Seung-hyun smiled happily and raised his hand in return. "At ease, come in." "Come in." Opposite Lee, Min-hyung bowed low, seeing that the captain was confused, but then smiled kindly. "You may leave now." Lee Min-hyung, sweating profusely, saluted, "Yes, sir." Then he left through the front door. The eyes of the remaining two, suddenly Seung-hyun, approached very friendly. "A captain who doesn't properly check the dungeon should be punished, right?" He widened his eyes and replied, "Private second class Kim Min-jun reporting, yes, sir." Then he moved toward the chair and touched it. Now no more beating around the bush. He looked at him wide-eyed, confused. "Private second class Kim Min-jun, you were called here because I have a few things to tell you." Seung-hyun's expression was calm, smiling, with hands folded on the table. "Because you scored the highest, I have a special invitation for you. Do you want to hear it? The proverb, a crane among chickens. This proverb implies someone who stands out above the rest." Seung-hyun rested his chin on both hands, thinking to himself that this guy really wasn't an ordinary person. Never thought I'd live to see such a sight. But who would have known there's a crane just showing average to look like a bunch of chickens? Seung-hyun looked at him expectantly. It really would be a national loss to place a genius like this at a normal rank, especially when they're in need of personnel. Let's see. After a moment of silence, he decided to speak. "I heard you want to get promoted as soon as possible, but by our rules, private second class cannot participate. The promotion exam is in 1 year, but if you get an exception, that's another story." Seung-hyun slammed the table and shouted confidently, "If you volunteer to join the Hunter Corps in Chowon Province, I will use my training command authority to grant you this exception." He became more determined, looking at the soldier. "If you go there, you won't have to wait another year. How about that?" He became more and more determined, looking at the soldier. "If you go there, you won't have to wait another year. How about that?" After finishing, both fell into silence, not knowing what to say. Seung-hyun smiled awkwardly and sweated, waiting for the result, although he really wanted the promotion. "But Cho-won might be a bit too much, right? I'm worried this exception is not worthy of his ability." Now Min-jun began to look away, thinking, "If it's Chogon, that's the 104th Division of the Invisible Hunter Corps." Min-jun's teammates had told him to avoid that place at all costs. A cold weather. Snow falling continuously and thickly, but not boring because dungeons and monsters always appear unexpectedly. It's the most fascinating place in the rear lines. Surprisingly, Min-jun was very interested. "Isn't it great? As long as I get promoted, the experience anywhere else is not an issue. It might even be an exceptional level. It's not simple. And above all, they have many dungeons. Isn't that the most suitable condition for me? Especially regarding my career plans, I want to get promoted at all costs. The higher the rank, the larger and clearer my scope of activity is, and clearly there is no better way to get an exception." Besides completing the dungeon missions, Min-jun raised his head and loudly read each word, "I will go." Seung-hyun sighed with relief at that agreement. "All right, then tell me your conditions." He was startled, reconsidering. "Wait, what?" Min-jun firmly shouted towards the commander. "I will go to Cho-won on a beautiful sunny morning." The vehicles were waiting for the soldiers parked in the schoolyard. Now Jin Seo sadly ran to the car door, crying loudly, "Kim Min-jun, you have to call me when you arrive at the base, okay?" He stood outside, smiling to reassure his friend. "Now you're just saying that. Otherwise, you would definitely contact me yourself. You're crying nonstop. It's obvious. I swear I will do that." Min-jun chuckled. "Whatever." Jin Seo tried to wipe away tears, but her voice was still sobbing. "But you will really go to Cho-won, right? Why do you volunteer to go to a place everyone wants to avoid?" Min-jun looked up and smiled brightly. "How could someone like you understand? You guys don't know my life goal is crazy." Jin Seo naively asked, "What is it like reaching max level 100 times or something?" He shook his head calmly, objecting, "As of yesterday, I have reached max level 30 already." "So 100 is nothing. After hearing that you were shocked and scared, you really are crazy." Then the vehicle left amid Jin Seo's regret. "Remember to call me." Min-jun said goodbye and then breathed heavily. Finally, the noisiest guy has left the base. He looked around and complained, Why am I still alone? Not long after, a vehicle sped up and stopped right in front of Min Jun, surprising him. The car door opened immediately. Minji stepped down proudly and shouted, "Kim Min Jun." The guy approached him with a tall and fierce appearance. Minji, expressionlessly behind his glasses, announced, "Sorry to keep you waiting. Because of the snow, I lost quite some time." Min Jun gaped and shook his head politely. "Private Kim Min Jun, no problem at all." "Snow? What month is it that there's snow?" Then Minji turned and left towards the car, stepping steadily while ordering, "Then we will depart for the core. Get in the car." Min Jun looked confused at this strange behavior. He's showing off too much. Alone, he sat in the car with his bag behind him. Min Jun thought deeply, "I will really start life as a soldier when I arrive at the base." He crossed his arms and looked up at the high sky. No matter how harsh the training is or how often he has to fight monsters, it's no problem for him. But there is one thing that worries me, bullying. The image and memories flood back. Come on, Dragon Ball. Min Jun fearfully recalled everything. What if I end up in a miserable situation like on TV shows? I don't have the patience to endure that kind of stuff. At this moment, he sighed and closed his eyes. But I guess I still have to endure it. As long as I cause trouble with a superior, once I will be sent to military prison, like an ordinary soldier, a house surrounded by walls. Finally, the vehicle appeared, gradually approaching a signboard of this area. Min Jun was stunned, eyes wide open, looking up. There really is snow here. Chowan Hunter Corps, Gangwon Province, 104th Division, 2nd Battalion. After getting off the car, Minji went ahead to lead the way. Cho Min Jun cautiously followed behind. He stopped and opened the door of a room. Then Min Jun was pushed inside with a brief greeting, "Rookie, go teach him." The words surprised everyone in the room, looking up at Chong Ti and Ti Guk, who were happily facing the newcomer. "Rookie," they excitedly ran over, asking, "What's your name?" Min Jun stammered and was a bit shy. "Private Kim Min Jun." Hearing that, they laughed loudly and praised, "If you are Kim Min Jun, then you must be an elite soldier, just like the rumors say." The bastard personally defeated a Chong Ti hunting dog and quickly threw the stuff to another guy in the room to open the rookie stuff. Min Jun carefully observed everything. Those were the two leaders of the collective housing, huh? They looked at me with a joyful attitude as if they had just found a new toy. Chong Ti quickly kept asking, "With such a high score, you could choose to go to the rear guard. Why come here?" Min Jun seriously explained, "I heard that the rear line is the best place to gain real combat experience and the fastest way to get promoted." As soon as he finished, Chong Ti and Ti Guk froze, confused. Both burst out giggling. "You're crazy," they said. They started interrogating Min Jun's background information. "Do you have any sisters?" "I don't." "What about a girlfriend?" "I'm single since birth, unlucky, huh? Show us your talent." He thought and calculated for a long time. "My talent, if I show it, will they back off?" Min Jun decided to raise one finger. "I will perform a one-handed push-up." Chong Ti ground his teeth. "What kind of talent is that? These guys can do that dumb trick all day." Chong Ti hurriedly reassured, "Hold on now. Don't get angry, Sergeant Cho, just let him show it, go ahead." Then both turned pale and sweaty as Min Jun did a one-finger push-up, veins bulging. The image of him doing a handstand amazed them. Ti Guk looked at Chong Ti, dumbfounded. "A handstand? You can do push-ups standing up? Does anyone in our company do that?" "That bastard probably can." 10-10-23, that bastard is a sergeant. But while showing off, Seong-ho stepped close to him, glaring at the rookie and giving orders. "Get out!" Chong Ti and Ti Guk worriedly pointed and chatted nonsense. "Bad luck for him, that bastard." Min Jun quickly realized and turned to look at the voice at that moment. Sergeant Lee Seong-ho, irritated and hot-tempered, witnessing the farce in front of him, glared at Chong Ti and Ti Guk, then raised his head and laughed sarcastically. "Why are you pretending to be exhausted? Well, you were only sent to be a guide. You don't even get to rest with the kids, lucky you. How many days off have you had? You're really a bastard." Seong-ho was annoyed, trying to suppress his anger. 4 days, is that enough? Don't bother me and leave me alone." Both left, but didn't forget to leave a warning. "You're a party that's about to end." 4 days is too much. Eat this bastard!" He angrily watched them go, cursing. "They keep provoking me, but I'm not scared." Min Jun silently watched them leave. Then Seong-ho lay down on the bed, took a breath, took out his phone, and turned it sideways to watch something. A voice played on the phone with instructions. "As you can see, the volcanic dungeon has a very high natural temperature that can cause immediate damage." Min Jun worriedly looked around. Even in this small room, the difference in rank is still big, huh? This isn't the 80s. Suddenly, Seong-ho looked up and ordered, Dongjin stepped forward. He shouted, "Privately, Dongjin, yes, sir." He quickly explained and assigned the task. "Since you're a rookie under your command, please guide him carefully." Dongjin nodded in agreement. "Yes, sir." Minjun was confused. "Is this my superior?" He cheerfully stepped forward to introduce himself. "Hello, my name is Lee Dongjin. Let's talk after eating. I was just given special permission to go to the BX." He was surprised and thought, "What, you can't just go to the BX?" Both quickly stepped outside. Dongjin pointed to a store. "Pick whatever you want to eat." Minjun looked up and teasingly asked, "Are you sure?" "I eat a lot." He chuckled and nodded again. "Of course. Don't worry, just choose and eat as much as you want." Minjun thought silently, "He's so kind." After he chose his dish, the cashier told him the price was 300,001. "Are you catching a cold?" Jun is shivering, but Minjun was very excited and happy. The sky gradually darkened and cooled. Dongjin kindly invited the new rookie to eat naturally. Minjun asked while chewing, normally we're not allowed to come here, right?" He just mentioned special permission earlier. He took a sip of water with a confused look. The private said quietly, "You can only come here on weekends. Besides, you still have to be a private first class or higher to use the gym and at least a corporal to use the PC room." While eating, Minjun almost choked on that statement. "Why is it only corporals and above who can use the PC room? Are you crazy?" Jin unconsciously drank a can of water with a sad tone, probably thinking it was unreasonable, but that wasn't the point. "A private first class like me can handle it. You need to get used to it." Minjun immediately stopped eating and loudly asked if there was no way to change it. Jin anxiously avoided eye contact and tried to recall that he needed to be promoted to at least corporal, not necessarily sergeant, although that wasn't easy either. Minjun was extremely annoyed, crossing his arms tightly and stopping eating. Acting like sitting still was already bad enough. "Limiting PC room use is already beyond what I can tolerate. No other way but to get promoted, huh?" Dongjin continued scratching his ear, explaining that it wasn't easy to become a sergeant in the Hunter Corps. "I've failed the promotion test many times, so I've been a private first class for 3 years. That's humiliating, isn't it?" Minjun quickly encouraged him with rising determination inside. "It's okay. I think you can do it next time. You need to get promoted. The sooner the better so I can be promoted with him." He laughed awkwardly, scratched his head, and thanked him for the encouragement. Kwang Shich quickly rushed over to hug Dongjin. "Who's this? Who's this? A new recruit in a private first class, huh? Why buy such small portions of food?" Suddenly, he awkwardly turned to invite Sergeant Kim Kwang Shich. "Please join us for a meal, sir." He chuckled heartily and agreed, "I won't refuse the invitation." Then Wang Shich ate comfortably without a care. Minjun curiously observed the situation right after he spoke. Something felt off. He was chewing noisily and loudly said, "I won't say anything about you chatting here. But if you can't do anything during tomorrow's weapons training, you two will be dead meat to me. I won't let it slide just because you're new. You know how to aim, right?" Jin looked excited, scratching his head. "Yes, I just explained the weapons training to him. In the end, it's only slightly different compared to other types." Wang Shich sighed, deeply annoyed. "Is that so? Am I going to do that again? You mean you only care when I do well?" Private First Class Lee Dongjin sadly shook his head no. "Sorry, sir." He immediately started blaming and bullying. "You're still a private first class while doing well, but those who take the promotion test are just idiots." "Are you stupid?" Minjun, annoyed, immediately used a secret move under the table. "Why is this pig so annoying I won't hold back anymore? Why don't you just vomit everything you just swallowed?" Immediately, Kwang Shich felt discomfort flooding his body. He stood up, looking at the food. Dongjin was confused and worried. "What's wrong?" Kwang Shich examined the food he just chewed carefully. "Damn, that's strange." Minjun chuckled silently, thinking he was checking the expiration date. Then he left in discomfort, sweating profusely. "Nothing. You two should come back early." Jin felt guilty, but called out after Sergeant Kim Wangsik. He turned to watch and guessed that even a rotten skill at level E could still be occasionally useful. Kwang Shich was worried, clutching his stomach and running to save himself. "Damn, what's wrong with my stomach? If it's not the food, then what is it?" Minjun quickly changed the subject. "Private First Class Lee Dongjin, what was that weapons training just now?" He was surprised and recalled the training. "You'll use an XK2 rifle with ICM bullets, right? Then we use warheads with greater power than those. If ICM bullets at the training center are like a regular horse, then what I have now is a wild horse with completely different recoil and the sound is like you're firing a cannon." Dongjin advised and reassured the new recruit because the monsters appeared far from here. So the damage of the bullets is even more important. It's quite unfamiliar at first, so just prepare to be scolded gradually and don't overthink it. Min-jun blankly stared, thinking. A regular horse and a wild horse, a reasonable comparison. If you think about it, the long-range weapon I used at Iska should be equivalent to an elephant. I wouldn't even call that a weapon. If it's just a wild horse, I'd be relieved. Min-jun's face sharpened with a sly smile. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Dong-jin continued to worry, not knowing what was wrong with Sergeant Kim Kwang-sik. He didn't look well. The next morning, the soldiers quickly grabbed their backpacks and left. The sound of weapons firing continuously echoed across the sky. Everyone practiced enthusiastically and intensely. The target board was shot so much that smoke billowed thickly. Min-jun sighed, blaming himself. I missed a shot. Too bad. The guard soldier raised the red flag in surprise, completed shooting at the target, hitting 19 shots, missed 1, and stunned Chong Ti, who was so shocked he broke out in a sweat while the other teammates quickly started buzzing with chatter. I heard a private hit 19 shots. Is he a shooting machine? Isn't that just luck? You can shoot like that just by luck. Chong Ti and T Group worriedly whispered to each other. His 6th round was 14 shots higher than the team's average, but that was right above the guard post. There were 2 people observing. Minchin and Hyo Tae-seok were also extremely surprised by this strange scene. Oh my God, 19 shots to the head, did I hear correctly? He is excellent. It seems that this news is accurate. Stunned Chong Ti rushed forward to interrogate the new soldier. How did you do that, Min-jun? He asked with a naive smile. I just followed the instructions. He smiled wryly immediately, as if saying we weren't given instructions. Minji suddenly appeared and praised him. You did very well hitting 19 shots on the first try. Keep it up. He emphasized, I am really looking forward to you in this afternoon's special weapons training. Min-jun suddenly looked puzzled and thoughtful about the special weapons training. Stunned, he teased the new soldier, Are you about to try special weapons training? Chong Ti happily turned to tease, Excuse me, Sergeant First Class Kim Minji, do you have any comments? Minji was annoyed. Put on your helmet, you lazy guys. The other teammates quickly ran over to the new soldier. Min-jun, you really shoot well. You might get a day off. If you hit all 20 shots? What a pity. Min-jun nodded politely, thanking everyone. He naively raised his sleep-deprived eyes and asked, But Sergeant Lee Dong-jin, how is special weapons training different from this? I haven't heard about it at all. Dong-jin laughed awkwardly with a worried look. Sorry, I didn't think you were that good at shooting. Because new soldiers are usually exempt from special weapons training since it takes a long time to get used to our ICM bullets, I briefly explained to you. Although you can rest and just listen to the briefing. Special weapons training involves a team of 2 entering the training facility and eliminating monsters on the way to the destination. Although they are not too dangerous, you will have to face moving targets. You also have to be ready to block their attacks. Dong-jin emphasized one more thing: you must pay attention to the target signs because civilians may appear suddenly. If you hit even one civilian, you will fail regardless of how many monsters you kill. Don't worry when facing real monsters outside. The management will control the situation, so no need to be concerned. Min-jun blushed with apparent delight. Living monsters sound fun. Then, everyone gradually moved into the dining hall, gathered, and packed their food. Dong-jin ate while praising, I can't believe you hit 19 shots. You must have been born to be a soldier. He chuckled with chopsticks in hand. Private Lee Dong-jin hitting 13 shots is also a good result. You shyly looked away. That's because I have prior experience. But technically, I'm not very good. Or rather, Sergeant Lee Seung-ho is the main damage dealer. On average, he hits 17 shots on target. This makes him the best shooter on the team. Min-jun put food into his mouth while unconsciously thinking, since 10 shots is the team's average, then he is quite good too. So now I have to take the top spot, right? Dong-jin confidently raised his finger in praise. Anyway, Min-jun, I'm sure you will do well in the special weapons training. He chuckled and nodded. Private Lee Dong-jin, you said there will be a team of 2 there, right? Why don't you join me? You awkwardly shook your head to refuse. The director will decide that. So I can't be sure about anything. Min-jun casually asked, So what are the criteria to register as a team member? Dong-jin was silent for a moment, then recalled and explained, According to the news, it's done through a ladder lottery. The ladder lottery is designed to pair randomly, also called Amida Kuji in Japan or Ouija 2 in China. Then everyone gathers at the training center. Minji stood up first and shouted loudly, We will start training in 5 minutes. All soldiers put on bulletproof vests and wait for orders. Minjun quickly put on his armor with everyone else. Minji stood up first and shouted loudly, "We will start training in 5 minutes." All soldiers put on bulletproof vests and wait for orders. Minjun quickly put on his armor with everyone. Wang Shik appeared from somewhere, arms crossed, sneering contemptuously at the new recruits' team. I guess it won't be a fair fight. After all, a sergeant and a private are two different worlds. Minjun doubted, calculating Sergeant Kim Kwang-sik. Is this bastard my teammate? Judging by his expression, he definitely hasn't learned any lesson and is still arrogant. Kwang-sik continued to preach to the new recruit, let's see. Because the average completion speed of our team is 3 minutes, shouldn't our rookie be the same? He squints and smiles threateningly. Make sure you finish it in 3 minutes or you'll regret it. Minjun stays silent. What now? Wang Sik keeps rushing forward, making a fool of himself. Why don't you answer, or have you lost confidence? The 19 shots before were just luck. He breathes irritably inside. Sergeant Kim Wang Sik, you are a failure. Minjun forces a comforting smile. It's nothing, I will try my best. He then points to himself and babbles, No, I don't care how hard you try. Only the result matters. If you finish late, you're done for. Okay, let's see what the other team can do. Minji shouts loudly from afar. Any problems? The other team replies in unison. No, sir. The guy takes his position, stands with legs apart, signals the soldiers to be ready. Report. Munji smiles skeptically. Shooting direction 1 ready. Hani Young laughs like a horse obeying orders. Shooting direction 2 ready. Minji shouts loudly, quickly lowering down. The special weapons training begins after 2 groups of 2 descend to ground bases from 2 separate directions. The door gradually opens and the soldier takes position ready. This means tactical training to eliminate monsters while protecting civilian target dummies in a restricted area. However, in reality, it has turned into a military competition. The goal is to complete the challenge as quickly and cleanly as possible and press the finish button at the destination before your opponent. Outside, the status board lights up. Minjun looks at it thoughtfully, marking monsters that seem to vary in size. Wang Sik approaches to explain further. The size of the mark changes based on the monster. The bigger the mark, the more dangerous the monster. You should know this before starting right. There are 2 monsters placed on each path, and you will have to face whichever type appears. It's completely random, so you won't know until you step in. A toad appears, making Munji confused. A toad. It sticks out its tongue and attacks, suddenly making him dodge immediately. Damn it. The status board changes based on the training situation. Minjun puts his hand on his chin, thinking. The person on path 1 moves faster but is unlucky with that monster. His opponent will cheat and win meanwhile. Han Young easily eliminates the enchanted rat, rests his gun, and leaves victoriously. This must be an easy win, moving to the next stage in a blink. Before he could rejoice, a toothy worm appears waiting. Munji quickly destroys the toad with skillful weapon use, leaving while scolding the 2 toads, what a lousy bunch. He probably finished already. But when he runs near the button, no one is there, surprising Munji. He quickly presses the button hard to register. The announcement shows completion time immediately after the press. His teammates unconsciously shout loudly and happily look at each other. 2 minutes, 24 seconds, not bad. The second path encountered a desert worm. That worm is all about defense. Munji laughs teasingly. Why are you late? How can you protect the nation like this? Hanwai huffs helplessly. That bastard got lucky. He laughs arrogantly. Keep comforting yourself. I'm still better because I won, so you owe me at the bus station. Besides being late, you even shot a civilian. And anyway, you're not skilled enough, plus you pierced an apple. Han Wai-ong looks at his teammate irritably. Enough already. Then they continue arguing back and forth. Don't eat too much, okay? Don't eat like it's harvest season. When did we decide that? Wang Sik crosses his arms and shouts. I guess those 2 have bet against each other. Minjun is surprised to hear that word. Bet, he voluntarily suggests. Why don't we bet? He stares, asking if he heard wrong. Minjun seriously raises his hand to challenge. Yes, sir, loser will do the winner's request like a man. Kwang Sik laughs, loudly satisfied. You think you can do something because the soldiers love you. All right, bring it on. If the subordinates want it, I can't refuse, but that's too bad. I don't have any wishes a private can fulfill, so you'll have to give me 3 months' salary if you lose. Okay. Minjun silently thought to himself, if he only needed money, then this is the kind of person he is. He seriously accepted it. If I lose 3 months of my salary will belong to the boss. He laughed approvingly, looking at him. This guy is pretty good. Rongjin saw 2 people radiating killing intent from afar and loudly called out, Minjun Minji, then shouted the team slogan, Next team, prepare for a report before training begins, right? Both Min Jun and Wang Shi responded in unison, "No, sir." The guy continued to shout loudly, "All right, lower it." Then the ladder was quickly brought down again. Min Jun stood solemnly looking at the opponent with contempt. He seemed to sense that cheap provocation. "I know standing out too much isn't good, I know, but I'm not mature enough to sit still." He clenched his fists, feeling more irritated when someone provoked him. The announcement board lit up again, making everyone extremely excited. It's starting. Did you hear a sergeant and a private bet with each other? The private will definitely beat the sergeant. Forget about winning. Can he kill the monster, I wondered? If Sergeant Private Kim Minji finishes by rescuing him, suddenly the ground shook violently. Making Rong Jin panic, everyone staggered and fell to the ground right there. He and his teammates anxiously looked around. What is that? An earthquake, no. A monster appeared on the movement board, terrifying everyone. What the hell is that? Min Jun, just stepping out the door, immediately felt it too. What is this shaking? I think it's near me. He narrowed his eyes in surprise. A cyclops was enjoying a tasty little mouse. Min Jun froze but was not scared, instead blaming himself. What the hell is it eating, a monster? The cyclops chewed noisily on the little mouse staring at him. To it, Min Jun was incredibly small. Then, the cyclops finished, the mouse's head opened its mouth wide and lunged at Min Jun. He quickly jumped back to dodge the attack. Min Jun unconsciously observed and assessed the monster in front of him. His mind drifted to something else as if not paying attention. Tonight's menu is fried chicken, right? I want to finish as soon as possible to go eat. That must be my goal. I have to shoot accurately to avoid elimination. If I shoot randomly and hit something, that would be bad luck. The Cyclops kept advancing, forcing Min Jun to retreat. But why is that bastard causing trouble now? It raised its hand to the sky, preparing a strike down on Min Jun. Its hand hit his attack, emitting a strong pink light along with continuous howling from the Cyclops. It screamed in pain, veins bulging as its hand bled continuously. Min Jun excitedly clenched his fist, watching it. Finally, it calmed down a bit. Now I have to shoot you down. Not happy for long, he noticed something strange. The Cyclops' arm was healing its wound, emitting a strange blue light from its hand. In front of Min Jun, the battle status board appeared. Other teammates were chatting excitedly. What's going on? Is the rookie in combat status? Was there an accident or something? Minji unconsciously looked in that direction. The guy was sweating in fear. The second monster on road number 2, that's the Cyclops, also known as the gluttonous demon. Once it uses its energy, its regeneration and attack abilities increase dramatically, until digestion is complete. Minji stared blankly behind his glasses, pondering. But something was strange. It won't attack unless its life is in danger and it has escaped captivity, and got angry after eating another monster. What provoked it? Min Jun now jumped continuously to dodge attacks. He jumped high in front of the Cyclops and loudly teased, "Oh wow, you're really a dumb active guy, so it will be easier to beat you." Min Jun spoke while readying his weapon, but this was supposed to be weapon training. Min Jun attacked the eyes, continuously driving the Cyclops crazy. It held its eyes and lowered its guard. Quickly, Min Jun looked carefully and lunged forward. It seemed its eyes regenerated slower. I should finish it now. Its eyes hurt sharply and it struggled to recover. Min Jun ran fast, planning to quickly eliminate it, but the Cyclops' arm suddenly reached close to him. Min Jun quickly glanced over with a tense expression. Look at that bastard go. It aimed exactly where he stood. Could it see him, or sense him by sound or something else? He quickly leaned back to dodge skillfully. The Cyclops slammed hard on the ground, attacking wildly. It was startled when something struggled beneath. Min Jun quickly pushed its hand up. Strange. He laughed confidently, realizing the sound. No way they would use a violent monster like that. Like this, for training with me, I already blinded it. But somehow, then it detected my position twice in a row. Are you reacting to my dark energy? Meanwhile, the door Minji opened. The guy anxiously grabbed his weapon and ran quickly. Here, is this a disaster? Why is this happening to the rookie? Minji tormented herself inside. It was all her fault. A Cyclops that can use energy is not something a private can defeat just with a gun. Kim Minju, don't die, hang in there a little longer. Meanwhile, Wang Sik smiled brightly as he ran to the finish line. He looked at his watch, then smirked. All right, I'll time it about 2 minutes 30 seconds. That private kid won't be able to keep up with my speed. He has failed just as I expected. What should I do with that bastard's salary? Using it on vacation sounds good. Just as he finished thinking, Wang Sik was stunned when he saw his opponent. He shouted loudly towards Min Jun, "Why are you still here?" He immediately turned to look at Wang Sik Min. Jun pressed down with a triumphant tone. Wang Sik froze and broke out in a cold sweat on the spot. Min Ji was stunned witnessing the whole event. The guy bowed his head looking at the battlefield and stammered, "How did you manage to defeat him like this, then?" The battle ended, making everyone excited, and joyful people shouted loudly, "Has anyone ever completed the special weapons training in under 2 minutes? The rookie is truly a monster. That private defeated a Cyclops by himself. I swear I thought there would be an accident." Dong Jin anxiously ran over to ask Han about Min Jun's condition. "Are you okay? Does it hurt anywhere?" He smiled brightly. "Privately, Dong Jin, I'm fine. No pain at all. You and everyone else joking around, that's a relief. Really, how did you defeat it?" "I defeated it the way you taught me." "Like I taught you." That made Wang Sik extremely angry. A quick-tongued soldier poked at the black heart of the team no bets. Anyway, the rookie won right. Wang Sik immediately slapped the guy on the head, clearly annoyed, clenching his fists. "Do you want to die? It's not fair, so cancel the bet. Cancel the bet." Wang Sik pointed directly at the rookie and cursed, "No way I finish faster than the rookie. The special weapons training is designed to defeat 2 monsters. Before reaching the finish line, I already defeated 2. That's the rule, but what about the rookie?" He immediately emphasized, "What about the rookie?" The stammering soldier whispered, "He only faced 1, it's Wang Sik." Annoyed, pointing at Dong Jin, "See, it's not fair. If I had faced 1, I might have finished faster." "Li Dong Jin, why aren't you saying anything? Is it fair?" He was flustered, not knowing what to say. His face tensed, veins bulging. "Say something quickly. Or do you want to die?" Min Jun felt annoyed and couldn't stand him. He was the worst person ever, although it was quite surprising he didn't feel good about defeating a monster with his fists, so he intended to forget about the bet, and now this is how he behaves. Wang Sik continued threatening, "Answer me, Li Dong Jin," he kept begging. "Sergeant Kim Wang Sik, please let me go." Min Jun was confused by the strange scene. Why is he picking a fight with Private Li Dong Jin instead of me? Suddenly, Seung Ho slowly stepped forward and spoke calmly. "Aren't you ashamed?" The rookie took higher risks. He wasn't afraid and shouted straight, "Who the hell is that?" Seung Ho continued in a reminding tone. "Usually Cyclops are very gentle, but once they rebel, the danger increases significantly. You think no one knows. He faced much greater difficulties than you." Immediately, everyone froze. No one said a word. Sergeant Lee Seung Ho, the guy was embarrassed and shut up immediately. Are you trying to show your rank in front of juniors?" Seung Ho raised his head, frowned in annoyance. "I was the one who did that first." The guy was flustered and raised his hand to make excuses. "All right, don't embarrass me in front of the kids anymore. Just kidding. Don't be too tense," he remembered. "I'm joking." Then Seung Ho left and deliberately shrugged at Wang Sik. "Everything is not as you think, it's all a joke. You haven't changed, huh?" Anyway, he quickly sarcastically said, "Having a higher rank is great." Sergeant Wang Sik, for stubborn donkeys who were once seniors, surprisingly became obedient in front of him. Min Jun immediately understood and sneered, "Is that so?" Wang Sik was so angry his face turned red, but he couldn't do anything. Seung Ho turned his head and deliberately repeated, "Did you want to say something?" Kwang Sik waved his hand to refuse, smiling reluctantly. Of course not. He deliberately provoked more. "That's right, Kim Kwang Sik, you shouldn't say anything more." Then Jong Jin and Min Jun went out to clean. He spoke up, so talkative. "Are you saying Sergeant Lee Seung Ho was promoted 2 ranks? You stopped sweeping and started telling the past history, right? This is a special case because he achieved the highest rank in the promotion exam, however, although he could be promoted 2 ranks. But the special promotion is no longer valid. They have abolished it because there was once a sergeant who was promoted but then caused an incident in the dungeon, and Sergeant Lee Seung Ho is one of the last cases." Min Jun raised his eyebrows suspiciously, so there is no way to get a special promotion anymore. Jong Jin happily went on talking. "There are exceptions, like if you can rescue civilians in an emergency situation or if you achieve outstanding results in monster hunting. But all those cases are quite subjective. It's best if you think that rule does not exist at all. No other hunter has ever been specially promoted before." Min Jun continued sweeping the trash, "I understand, but in his heart he thought differently. Subjective, huh? So the commander is the one who has the final say. Even if I don't get promoted, I don't want danger to fall on the civilians. However, it seems peaceful here indeed. Although they said monsters appear daily since the North Korean army was wiped out." Min Jun sighed tiredly and irritably. "I think experiencing the private soldier job for 2 days is enough. I want to be promoted immediately." Jung-jin smiled naively to encourage, because now you are doing very well. I'm sure you will be promoted soon. Are you listening? He continued to sigh. Oh God, I wish a gate would appear right now. Suddenly, the loudspeaker sounded, attracting both their attention. The announcement was loud and urgent, broadcasting an order from the control center. Emergency alarm. Emergency alarm. A significant number of mid-level Ruar monsters have appeared at the oil reserve area. All hunters are instructed to quickly assemble at the oil reserve and set up defensive shields immediately. Jung-jin fearfully reminded the rookie again. That's an emergency alarm. Min-jun, let's go. He was extremely delighted, with a beaming face, really. Mid-level Ruar. A species of Ruar monsters the size of a child living in caves. Each individual is not a big threat, but they are especially agile. Moreover, they can spit fireballs from their mouths, so their appearance at the oil reserve is an emergency, since the entire military camp could be blown up. Two soldiers guarding the gate looked at the mid-level Ruar swarm awkwardly. How many are there in total? The soldier with slanted hair aimed his weapon, but didn't forget to grumble, why do they dare appear here? The soldier next to him immediately reminded, are you crazy? You are not allowed to shoot near the oil reserve. What if they attack us here, huh? He awkwardly lowered his weapon, then turned to question, so you mean I can only watch them like this? The teammate also became more confused. They haven't approached the oil depot yet, just observed the situation because it has been reported. I'm sure someone will be sent to set up the defensive shield. The soldier with slanted hair worriedly anticipated what would happen if the monsters burned the oil depot before the shield was set up. The soldier next to him immediately stepped forward. If that happens, both imagined it and showed fearful expressions. Just thinking about it is scary. The soldier with slanted hair started to panic. What should we do? He scratched his head and replied, I don't know why those bastards came here. Min-jun quietly stepped out and suggested, I will attract their attention. The two soldiers immediately recognized quickly, aren't you the rookie of the 2nd Legion? Seeing Min-jun go out without any equipment made them even more panicked. Hey, what the hell are you planning to do? Not even carrying any equipment, go back immediately. He could only chuckle when he heard that who has time for equipment. When the honorable guests helping me get promoted are waiting for me, along with the title of private soldier, I will single-handedly stop the emergency that could blow up the entire military camp. I will also scoop up all the experience points. Is this possible? Min-jun summoned his power in his hand with a very confident smile. He recalled the images of fighting heroically against the Cyclops mid-level Ruar, flying wildly and fiercely attacking. He stood beneath them and smiled smugly, as expected. These bastards are reacting to my dark energy. Min-jun looked up and telepathically communicated. So you guys all belong to me. Another group of soldiers rushing into battle. Shung-ho shouted from behind, hurry up, don't damage the equipment. Suddenly, they stopped. This caused the soldiers behind to get stuck. The commanding soldier loudly interrogated, why are you stopping there? Hey, what's going on? He was also stunned, unable to believe his eyes. Shung-ho now took out his weapon and continued to ask, what are you guys doing? Don't just stand there watching. Set up the shield immediately. Minchin turned to report immediately. Sergeant Lee Seong-ho, sir. The situation is right now. Private Kim Minju was shouting loudly at Seong-ho. Never had anything like this. He quickly seized the opportunity to give this order. You bastards, a private is attracting their attention, yet you just stand there watching. Everyone replied in unison, understood, sorry, sir. Meanwhile, Min-jun calmly tore apart each advanced-level drone by hand. He sighed and wiped sweat continuously, taking too much time because he had to tear apart each one himself. Is there nothing useful? Suddenly, Seong-ho ran over from afar, shouting, Kim Min-jun, you bastard, lower your ego and step back. What do you think you're doing? Not even a bulletproof vest. Min-jun quickly activated his internal power and strength to strike down the ego. What the hell, they all belong to me? Don't ever think about it. Suddenly, he was attracted by the electric baton Chong Tae. Seong-ho Min-jun smiled with interest, looked at it, then unleashed his power on it. That looks interesting. Suddenly, Seong-ho's body had a problem. He gritted his teeth and endured, why is my stomach acting up right now? Min-jun pretended to approach and asked various questions. Sergeant Lee Seong-ho, is something wrong, sir? Are you okay? Seong-ho bowed his head, clutching his stomach, and replied with difficulty, I'm fine. He deliberately asked back, are you sure? Then let me borrow that for a bit. Seong-ho still stubbornly refused, no, you need to step back. Min-jun took the weapon and confidently reassured his teammates, don't worry, leave it to me. I'll be back right after dealing with them. This is great, an electric fly swatter. He gave a proud smile and headed toward the advanced drones. Now let's go. Each advanced drone was hit and electrocuted painfully. Min Jun happily eliminated one drone after another without fear. Xiang Ho looked up to observe. Is this guy dominating those advanced drones? The other teammates suddenly looked up to the sky. Meanwhile, down below, the fiery advanced drone was causing panic. Watching it, the advanced drone screamed fire, very terrifying. Yes, the CEO ordered the soldiers behind to shoot quickly. I will take full responsibility, so just shoot. They were startled and clumsily operated. Yes, sir. The soldiers raised their guns to aim. He then realized something strange. It was Min Jun jumping onto the back of that fiery advanced drone. Hey, advanced drone, haven't you heard if you play with fire? He slammed hard onto it with a threatening phrase, you'll get burned. The advanced drone quickly dodged to one side, but it was too late. It took the full brunt of Min Jun's ultimate move. Everyone was stunned. How the hell did he get up there? Who knows? More importantly, how high did he just jump? At night, everyone prepared and equipped a defensive layer carefully. A round blue sphere appeared surrounding the regiment. Everyone shouted to notify each other, the defensive shield has been activated. Make sure to check the cables carefully. What about the drones? How long will it take you to collect enough drone corpses? The red worm approached from afar. Lee Seung-ho quickly raised his hand to greet hello. The guy gently approached and praised, Yeah, well done, but where did they come from? We didn't detect them on the radar at all. The smell of roasted drones is awful. Who roasted them? How many are there in total? Seung-ho reported seriously. A total of 30, sir. Doubt filled his heart. He wondered where the commander was. The mission operation officer was the captain. Jun-sik, the battalion commander, had just left. All right, even if he's not good at fighting, it's still not okay. An awakened operator is absent. Chong-ti said, emergency situations only appear when things are resolved. Seung-ho frowned, thinking further. Maybe he only watches the monsters from the command center. Run-shich interrupted, Anyway, Seung-ho, you are responsible for eliminating the drones, right? I will definitely report to the battalion commander. He honestly declared, It's not me. The guy froze and smiled awkwardly. Then who did it? Is there anyone else in the Chongtae battalion with skills using a stun baton comparable to yours? Seung-ho faced him and explained the situation. Not all the monsters were killed by the stun baton, but all 30 monsters were defeated by one person. Please make sure to report this. Jun was annoyed, almost shouting, What are you joking with me right now? Are you saying that the monsters that were torn apart were also killed by the same person? Suddenly, Min Jun stepped forward silently while the man was still cursing. All the operators were resting, so if it wasn't you then, who he suddenly spoke up, attracting both their attention. Hello, I came to return this stun baton, sir. Min Jun's face turned paler than ever. Is this thing expensive? The next day in the office, Seung-ho met Min Jun and sternly questioned Kim Min Jun, Tell me the truth. Do you want to re-enlist? He confidently replied without hesitation, yes. Seung-ho continued asking, So do you have regression? Min Jun coldly confronted no. He placed his hand on his knee and looked at the rookie. If not, then don't cause thoughtless trouble like yesterday. This time it was just luck for you. But since you're a hunter, you don't know what will happen next time. Min Jun was silent, but judged inwardly. It's not luck, but I have to stand still, right? Seung-ho continued in a lecturing tone. You know that too. The Hunter Corps is a special organization with a scale different from other corps. Even if that corps is at the division level, it only has 4 battalions, and even the subordinate battalions have far fewer soldiers compared to regular 6-company battalions. Min Jun stared blankly at the commander, because not every awakened person can enlist. But why suddenly talk about this? The vehicle driver bowed his head and glared at him. Can you imagine that? Suddenly he clenched his fist toward the rookie. In the Hunter Corps, from private to division commander, everyone is awakened. Of course, not all are combat members. Especially among the officers, most are administrative staff monster researchers, tactical and weapons researchers. Min Jun unconsciously recalled Jun-sik earlier. Then Seung-ho stood up and looked down at him. But all of them are awakened, and hunter soldiers are not promoted by time served, but by ability and achievements. Min Jun sadly drooped his mouth, showing attitude. Since early morning, the battalion commander called me, so I was expecting something good. But what is this about? Training time sounds good. Seung-ho turned away but didn't forget to praise. Being called to the battalion commander's office early in the morning, you must be very eager, right? I'm counting on you. Kim Min Jun, a black car speeding down the road. Today, the hunter who hunted the most monsters in the history of the 104th Division, Seo Yan, sat inside with a cold demeanor. The car quickly braked sharply, smoking the door immediately opened. Seo Yon stepped out with a stern face to visit our battalion. Jun Beom raised his hand and shouted the command for the whole team. Jun-sik, Jong-un, Cheon-min, and Seung-ho stood at attention looking extremely scared. Seo Yan immediately grabbed Seung-ho's hand, congratulating Sergeant Lee Seung-ho. The old man looked serious and asked Han, "I heard you calmly handled the scene yesterday." "You worked hard." Seung-ho dared not be timid and only knew to thank loudly, "Thank you, Commander." It had been a long time since everyone met. Min-jun quietly observed and evaluated with a murderous gaze. "I wonder what the 2-star standard of the Hunter Corps is like." Suddenly, Seo Yan turned to shake hands and greet the rookie, "You are Kim Min-jun." He quickly shouted his self-introduction, "Private Kim Min-jun reporting." He glanced down, feeling a strong grip when shaking his hand. The old man happily patted his back hard. "That's right, everyone, just relax." "Have you grasped the position where the gate appeared?" Jun Bell obediently sat next to him and timidly reported, "Yes, sir. The position has been identified on a hill to the northeast about 1.2 kilometers from the camp. We are currently controlling the surroundings and investigating the gate's rank." The old man extended his hand to assign the plan. "If confirmed, report immediately to the division commander's office. Is there any problem with the radar?" Jun-sik hurriedly reported. The alarm did not sound until the middle of the night when entering the Corps. "Confirmed the problem is not with the equipment. We are checking the cell ion issue." He seriously proposed, "If it's not the equipment, then the problem lies with the numbers. We will report to the military zone and install additional radar." He nervously shouted loudly but didn't dare to look straight at Min-jun. Seeing that, he immediately chuckled. Everyone was really scared. Then Selyong unconsciously turned his face to Cha and asked Kim Min-jun, "Yesterday you did a brave thing. Your initial reaction was quick, but you also have to think about yourself and bring equipment along." He immediately didn't dare to look straight, but he rolled his eyes and answered like a robot, "Private Kim Min-jun, it's my fault. If this continues, the army will be wiped out." The old man then stood up and approached Min-jun, apologizing jokingly. Handling 30 enemies alone, he was serious and obedient. "Yes," Celeron clasped his hands behind his back, praising continuously. "If you hadn't reacted quickly, the oil bottle might have exploded." "Very good." Cheamin and 2 other soldiers were sweating nervously. Then Selyong quickly removed a rank badge. The division commander would give you a gift. He stuck it on Min-jun's chest, congratulating him on his promotion. Normally, after several tests, soldiers who achieve overwhelming results will be rewarded. He enthusiastically shouted with gratitude, "Private Kim Min-jun. Thank you, sir." He then turned and ordered Cho Jun Bell standing behind the company commander. "This friend will have 3 days and 2 nights off." Obediently, Min-jun was so surprised he jumped. Unexpectedly promoted, he smiled brightly inside and also got rest. Military life was becoming more interesting. Then Min-jun and Cheon-min left. He went ahead to lead the way for the newly promoted Private Cheon-min, who smiled and praised him, "Very good kid. You just joined and already achieved results after only a few words." "Thanks to that, I also got praised." Min-jun smiled gently and nodded, thanking Cheon-min, then quickly changed the subject, "Just enlisted and already got to go home. Going outside, what do you plan to do?" He smiled naively, thinking about me. Min-jun quickly stepped out excitedly and went to the net cafe. Min-jun's face became more excited than ever. Of course it was the net cafe. His mouth formed a satisfied and very proud smile. After all, going home in an area with internet control meant all connections were cut off until called back. He had to use this 3 days and 2 nights fully. Then Seo-jun ran onto the sidewalk and shouted loudly, "Big brother, you're here!" Min-jun naively asked, "With a bottle of Chong Ta beer, you came here again?" The guy showed obvious annoyance, hands in his jacket pockets. "Big brother, don't mention it. Those damn soldiers, I didn't even enter that cave, just intended to pick some mushrooms around. They blocked me. I gave money to the mountain owner and got approval. Let's have a drink." Min-jun refused. "No, I'm driving." Trong-sun already went in. "Before it was banned, I heard there was toxic gas on the mountain, so Trong-sun's mind became unsteady since then. "If you go in there, you'll have trouble too." Seo-jun loudly refused, but was still uneasy. "Just wear a gas mask and it's fine." Min-jun unconsciously asked where that was. Then the two realized Min-jun was already there. Hearing this, both froze and looked at each other, stunned. Then, Min-jun drove Min-jun on a motorcycle to a remote mountain area. He shyly asked if it could be found from here. "Ah, yes, thank you two for bringing me here." He politely smiled brightly, thanking them for the ride. He placed his hand on the glass and chatted for a while. Even if going further, the army would block the way. "Can't go any further either." Are you really planning to go up the mountain to deal with that? Min-jun's face lifted seriously. Yes, maybe tomorrow I can go up the mountain. The two looked at the private rank on his shirt without saying anything. Then Min-jun drove off, not forgetting to wave goodbye. After all, it was careful. If anyone asks, don't say we brought you. Min-jun laughed loudly in response. Yes, don't worry, guys. After the vehicle left, he looked up at the pink mist covering the mountain, leaving the net cafe to come here. This familiar smell, it really is it. Min-jun laughed loudly, looking up at the sky. There were two soldiers guarding carefully with covered faces. Min-jun hid above to observe. The mountain gate was carefully fenced, but the dungeon area was loose. If so, being a private would be too conspicuous. Min-jun used absorption to spread the effect to the two soldiers. They staggered back, telling each other their stomachs suddenly hurt badly. Mine hurts too, you too. The soldier next to them worriedly said, barely audible. I'll hold it a bit longer. Sorry, but probably can't. Hey, no one comes here anyway. Hurry up and deal with it. About 5 minutes later, the soldier agreed and obeyed immediately. The cave gate was deserted, no one there. Min-jun quickly jumped down and crawled inside. He was extremely excited and happier than ever. While walking, Min-jun supported himself with his hands on the ground, feeling surprised and noting there were no monster traces around. But the mana is very dense anyway, it's fine. Then Min-jun stretched out both hands to absorb. He laughed loudly and then absorbed a lot. The status window kept popping up, increasing mana by 1 point. Min-jun sighed in relief it increased. Then the status window continued to appear, absorbing mana energy, reached a certain standard, enhancing decay, activating Nightwalker. Min-jun was delighted and blushed, feeling lucky. The status window appeared with a comprehensive, detailed character information. He happily looked closely, unable to believe there was even a skill to use mana for free. The summoned beast in the form of a shadow Nightwalker has the special skill of hiding under shadows and assassinating targets. It was a welcomed and quite useful guy since being at Iska. To maintain the summon, it must be fed an amount of mana equivalent each certain cycle, but Min-jun spread his legs wide and shouted loudly, "Appear!" It was a guy worthy of the price paid. Nightwalker appeared with tiny arms, shouting loudly, looking extremely angry. Min-jun looked at it, not knowing what to say. What is this? Is this also a punishment caused by spatial distortion? Or is it because the mana stat is too low? Anyway, this is really too much. After all, the skinny guy looked like he was about to melt as soon as a ray of sunlight hit him now. Hey, where did this come from? Wait, the small figure is a summoned beast that can hide under shadows. It spread its hands out, begging for food. I'm starving. Then Min-jun returned to the training camp. He seriously saluted and reported, Private Kim Min-jun has returned after vacation. Everyone quickly gathered around, chatting excitedly. Who is this? Aren't you the hunter who ended the shortest service as private? I heard the division commander granted you leave. The division commander also directly gave you the rank. Yes, that's right. He suddenly remembered his friend. Min-jun turned to look for Dong-jin immediately. In everyone's excitement, that's great, I realized it right away, you liar. He put forward a gift. I bought a bottle of lotion for you to use. Dong-jin, happily eyes shining, me. You bought several of these back, too. Thanks, I'll use it well. Kwang-shich stepped in from the door with both hands in his pockets. You just returned from overseas troop deployment. Such comrade spirit is touching, he said irritably. Did you buy the thing I asked for? Maxim Min-jun smiled and casually handed it over. Yes, here it is. Kwang-shich's eyes suddenly darkened, extremely angry, while Dong-jin laughed brightly, teasing, At this rate, you'll be promoted to corporal. Then I have to treat you well, right? He nodded in agreement. Of course. On the other side, Taeguk and Chong-ti quickly chatted noisily. That's right, this youngest member. Earlier, I passed by the administration office and saw the list of candidates for the promotion exam. Your name is on it too, right? Wasn't the registration closed before the youngest returned? Why not? Anyway, newcomers under 1 year can't register by themselves. So the division commander registered for you. Even so, the timing doesn't match. Sung-yu turned surprised and happy. The youngest is taking the promotion exam. Ex-jun smiled gently. Maybe not, showing a proud older brother look. But now you're a private, no longer the youngest. Min-jun then spoke to confirm. Actually, the training battalion commander made a proposal to me. He recalled the memory of that day. Seung-hyun shouted orders firmly. Min-jun calmly recounted everything. The soldiers listened silently. Taeguk and Chong-ti were stunned and sweating. How could you come back to take the promotion exam 1 year early? This guy is really crazy. You were already a private then, so this time it's the corporal promotion exam. If you pass all of that, Then you really are a crazy guy. Meanwhile, Kwang Shich was busy fiddling with something. T. Gook and Chong Ti enthusiastically cheered for the private. In short, those taking the promotion exam on Saturday will be trained before the exam and also receive main weapon training tomorrow. So try your best, everyone. Let's sneak out. Then the two happily teased each other like no one was around. Corporal Kim, aren't you taking the promotion exam? Corporal, are you planning to stay put? Min Jun was surprised hearing their banter. Main weapon training is different from rifle training. The next morning, T-Ho stood at the board lecturing nonstop. Everyone pay attention. I will briefly explain the promotion exam tomorrow. Those with experience, even if you already know the content, please don't do other things so that first-time candidates can focus. First, the Hunter promotion exam is divided into two main types. Min Jun was more excited than ever. The Hunter promotion exam was conducted in order a written test and a practical test. The written test can be easily passed with basic knowledge, easier than the written driving license test, but indeed the important part is still the practical test. In the practical test, proficiency with the main weapon will be tested, along with checking the ability to respond to monsters. Min Jun pondered while walking confidently. Although passing the test was certain in Chong Ti's hands, he wondered what kind of benefits would come with a perfect score. Maybe I should try to take the test seriously. The next day, everyone gathered at the test venue. Weapons were fully equipped and ready. Tae-ho stood with legs apart and shouted loudly to announce. From now on, the practical test for training the main weapon will begin. Second and first soldiers don't choose other weapons, just pick up your swords. Everyone shouted loudly and clearly in unison. He continued giving orders for other soldiers and senior soldiers to take their weapons and move to the far side. Individual training if anyone is caught being lazy or smoking, they're dead meat with me. From now on, what the training officer teaches is basic swordsmanship in the doctrine. The combat of the Hunter Corps is not simply about mechanically imitating the doctrine. The basic will in the Hunter Corps' swordsmanship is to adapt and modify it to suit oneself. Tae-ho shouted loudly, emphasizing each word clearly. The soldiers responded sternly and loudly, yes, understood. He raised his hand and struck his chest hard to demonstrate. First, the basics are very important, so watch me and follow. Don't roll your eyes around, focus. Then Tae-ho performed and swung a few basic sword moves. He finished with a final strike as the sword touched the ground. Min Jun smiled with delight and excitement. I know why they train the main weapon now. Combat memories immediately appeared in Chong Ti's mind. Catching monsters with a rifle was indeed a foolish act. The soldiers all wielded swords amateurishly and very cautiously. Is that so? But Min Jun was very skilled, learned quickly, and was passionate about performing sword techniques. In Iska, it really was better. Then, he jumped high and continued swinging, astonishing the soldiers. But what weapon to use was up to each person. Tae-ho shouted loudly, "Focus, everyone! Stop your movements!" Kim Min Jun stepped forward. He obeyed the first soldier's order. Kim Min Jun was clear. While Min Jun stepped up, everyone was worried. What's going on? Then he approached Tae-ho and stopped. He announced sternly after observing the training results. The training officer observed everyone's movements. There were many interrupted parts and still clumsy. Let's watch how first soldier Kim Min Jun does it. Everyone was horrified, frozen in place. Tae-ho shouted loudly, and Min Jun immediately performed that move skillfully. He dodged with professional swordsmanship, landed, and blocked the strike well. Min Jun did it very proficiently. The soldiers sweated nervously. Then Min Jun collapsed against the wall, panting heavily. I'm not a training assistant. There's no snow today, huh? It's too hot. Tae-ho suddenly appeared behind Kim Min Jun. It's tough now. The training officer was very satisfied with you. Save the food and eat it alone. Min Jun looked at the food package Chong Ti had and wondered if he always carried this. He sighed, ignored it, and prepared to tear it open to eat. Then Dong Jin ran over happily. Min Jun, you're shy to ask me, but I carefully watched your sword demonstration. If possible, during break time, can you watch my stance? Min Jun worriedly pointed at himself. Dong Jin quickly explained, I know today is also your first time training with the main weapon, the sword, but I'm still not satisfied when facing monsters. You don't need to feel burdened. Can you take a look and help me? He smiled gently and was silent for a long time. If you need my help, then I must help. Then Min Jun ate while observing his teammates' movements. It was clear he had practiced very hard. This was indeed the Hunter Corps' swordsmanship. The problem wasn't in the moves. What first soldier Lee Jong-jin lacked was Min Jun's face immediately became serious. Confidence, I'm also an expert at fixing that. He recalled memories from when he was little. I'm watching. Then Min Jun smiled slyly. That's right. This is not the time yet. When the time comes, I will help him become a top hunter. On the 7th day, the promotion survey was held. The soldiers were still leisurely watching TV, some playing basketball for entertainment, others relaxing with Go. Suddenly, an announcement came over the speaker. This is a message from the administrative officer's office. Hunters with a promotion test schedule, please go to the military training area immediately. I repeat, the announcement startled everyone greatly. Min-jun smiled as the announcement repeatedly called the hunters. He was full of confidence in himself, ready to become a non-commissioned officer. Very quickly, everyone was present at the gathering ground. Cheon-min took a breath and raised his voice. Now is everyone fully assembled? I am Lieutenant Kim Cheon-min of Battalion 2, Team 2. Today I will be your instructor. I hope everyone listens carefully to my words. First, report the rank numbers from each team. The vehicle moved quickly to the gathering point. Cheon-min carefully instructed every detail, acting swiftly and steadily. He continued the announcement as the soldiers were all on the vehicle. As you all know, the promotion test will be held at the 105th Division. Now we will head to Gapyeon, the test location. Everyone could review practice questions during the trip. Everyone on the vehicle looked tense. Min-jun suddenly overheard two soldiers above talking. Hey, have you heard the news? Squad 4 is also coming to the promotion test today. So today we'll have girls to look at. The one who started the conversation was Dong-guk. He looked visibly happy. I can show them my skillful weapon handling. I've trained for a whole year just to impress the girls. The soldier next to him agreed. Maybe they'll even ask for your number. That makes it harder for me. Min-jun smiled hearing that and encouraged. Right, let's try our best. Give it your all! The vehicle was about to arrive. Before that, they enjoyed the view of the clear, peaceful stream to soothe their anxious minds. Soon they reached Gyeonggyo-gabi, the 105th Division. At the division headquarters, the 4th promotion test was held in written test room number 7. All soldiers sat neatly and seriously doing their test. After the test ended, Min-ho angrily announced, "Except for Cho Dong-guk from Battalion 2 Military Zone 104, everyone passed. All hunters except Cho Dong-guk, please proceed to the practical test room immediately." He was embarrassed by everyone's mocking laughter. Everyone looked at the guy who was confident he would attract girls. Are you naturally stupid, or did you just practice that way? How could you fail the written test? The hunter test is even easier than the driving license test. Min-jun calmly walked on, ignoring their laughter. Suddenly, a familiar figure appeared from behind the group Sonun Seo. She was also participating in this test.